Does this work? Is this better? Does this work? Is this... It's not better. I'm still so fucking bright. I don't know what's happening. I didn't touch anything last time. I didn't touch anything. Alright, time to go sit in my one-shot area and wait for someone to tell me exactly what I've done wrong with my entire section of my life. I don't know if Dad can solve this. This doesn't seem like a Dad thing. Did you change any lights? No. I can turn... I'm actually... Maybe
Hello.
if I turn... Hey, if I turn the light off, maybe that'll help, but... I haven't touched anything. I don't know what I did. Yep.
Your microphone is muted in the chat.
Very sorry, I had to mute it to make sure that I wasn't yelling beforehand. Yeah, no light change, no nothing. Oh god, it's all bright. It's not breaking, I just look bright now. There's...
See, the thing is, usually, like, when I stream, all I have on is my ring light that holds my camera.
I only have on a ring light. There's nothing else.
Really? Because your room looks incredibly bright behind you. Like, it looks like there's an overhead light on.
No, there isn't. It's just a ring light. I've got a good one, though. It's also... The entire image is overexposed. I know it's not just my camera, because, like, my little overlay on the bottom isn't fucked, too. I am so pale. I look so bright. I look like I could be in Twilight. This actually kind of vaguely looks like a Twilight filter.
A little bit. But, see, it doesn't look really bad on... See, it doesn't look bad on my vertical monitor, but when I bring it over to, like, my actual computer monitor is when you're, like...
You're right. My vertical monitor makes me look fine.
Well, see, my vertical monitor is a TV. Like, it's just a TV that has speakers and everything.
Why is my vertical monitor on this one? I can see the monitor in your forehead. LOL. Well, fuck off. You guys are jerks. What's happening?
See, your whole room always looks bright because, like I said, I always thought you had, like, an overhead light on.
I don't know if the image is flashing for anyone, but it is for me when I make it smaller. So now I'm normal.
It's not flashing from what I see here.
I look normal now for me.
I mean, it looks a little less Beacons of Gondor.
It's normal now, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is.
I think it just evened out after an amount of time. Like, if that's what it feels like to me, is like the camera just kind of needed to warm up or adjust. I don't know.
No, I was editing the size of my, like, of the, like, the thing that I have pulled up, the tab. I was just making it bigger and smaller. Now it's small. It's in a corner. So I guess I just don't touch it. Cool. Done. I'm not going to touch it.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not going to question it. Just not going to touch it. And that's just how it's going to have to be.
That's generally for the best. Yeah.
Yup. Okay. Well, what I was gonna do is to have it in the one-shots, whoever wants to present, because the two people who are presenting, it's you and Jen who are presenting. And I think maybe someone else, I think, was maybe gonna try and get me a presentation in a few hours, but I don't actually know.
Yeah, and I think Nem said, like, when I ran the poll, Nem said he was interested, but I don't know. Nem is in chat. So I don't know if Nem is prepared to go.
We'll have to see. Well, anyone who wants to can. Yeah. Do you want to start since you are already here?
I mean, I can absolutely go, yeah.
Yeah. I was just gonna put it on a slideshow and then you tell me, like, when to change it.
Sure thing.
Alright.
Yeah. And Nem just said, yeah, he was interested but couldn't put one together in time.
That makes sense.
Consent, please.
Jen.
Hi, Jen.
I'm sorry. It happens every time. I know. I figured
And
I'd
it's
at least join in
fantastic every
here,
time.
and I'll
right.
mute since Gamer is presenting.
Perfect, yeah. And then you can just unmute when it's your turn. And I've got your thing already up, so we should be good to go. Welcome to the Horde. Walt Disney. I'm gonna move. Should I move my camera? I can get myself.
Okay, right now it's black screen.
Ooh, you're.
There we go.
You're a little big. There, I think it works.
And yes, shadow bullying is allowed. I have very strong opinions when it comes to this. So, like, and the thing is, I know that I'm right.
Okay, well, this is a great way to start off.
Because I put this to the test,
okay,
and I was right.
All right.
Everything in this is what I did when I went to Disney World, and I was able to ride every single ride in Epcot by 2 p.m., which is insane because some of those rides have 90-minute wait later in the day.
Good Lord.
So, yeah, I got on every ride. I got on all of the heavy demand ones. Oh,
I'll boost it.
Shadow is saying I am a tad quiet.
Up to you.
I'm also gonna up my input volume. There we go.
Perfect. All right, sad.
There we go. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So, we're ready for the next slide then.
Perfect. Oh, sorry. Pause that. Where to stay?
Yes, where to stay. So, basically, what I was going to cover is your strategy for when you get into the park, but where you stay affects everything to do with your park day, because if you stay in certain resorts, you get into the park early. If you stay in other certain resorts, you can stay late on certain days. So everybody else gets kicked out of the park, and only people who stay at your resorts are allowed in. So you have more time on certain days if you stay at certain hotels. The other thing is, rope dropping becomes much less viable if you are not staying on Disney property. So if we go to the next slide covers staying off property. Let me know when you switch because there's the delay.
This looks like the sickest room ever. We're on.
Yes, that one is an Airbnb in the Orlando area. There are actually lots of houses that are done up like that in the Orlando area. Usually that is only going to actually save you money when you're traveling in a large group. Like you would have to be traveling, like for my example, it would have to be basically me, my parents, and like my cousin and his wife all going at the same time. Because Disney hotels, they come in different prices. The value ones are about $230 a night. But by the time you factor in a rental car to cover getting around because you don't have access to Disney transportation, everything like that. And also the off-property hotels, they don't offer shuttles to the park. They don't offer anything like that. So you're really you're saving money on the hotel, but you're going to spend every cent of that again on Ubers to get to and from the resort, like to and from the parks. So I always say they're good if you are, like I said, are traveling in a giant group, like it's a giant family going. But like for us, it's a family of 3. We stay on property. And so if you go to the next one, you see the middle option, which is a Disney Good Neighbor Hotel. These are hotels owned by companies besides Disney, but they fall on Disney property. So Disney owns an area in Florida the size of San Francisco. Like they own the equivalent of a large metropolitan city there. So they have over time leased land to other hotel entities and things like that. Like the hotel pictured there is actually a former Nickelodeon hotel. So that giant splash pad used to be themed to like Avatar: The Last Airbender, Jimmy Neutron, Fairly Odd Parents, everything like that. the Nickelodeon Hotel shut down, and now it's a Holiday Inn Express.
Aw.
But as the slide says, it is a good neighbor hotel. So what this is Disney gets to inspect them to make sure that they meet a certain quality of service in order to have that little extra badge. And in return, you get some of the features that you would have by staying on Disney property. So you get early entry, which means you get into the park an hour early before anyone else.
Mm.
And then, but the downside is that the shuttles, Disney shuttles run every 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not too bad. But with Disney, a bus can fill up and you have to wait for the next one. You're only waiting 15 minutes. If this happens here, guess what? You're taking an Uber.
Oh.
And, you know what I mean? Because you're going to lose an hour of your park day. And no, Disney did not try to kill Avatar, Nem.
It died on its
Nickelodeon
own.
just kind Nickelodeon just kind of
its
gave
own.
up on this hotel.
Yeah.
Nickelodeon now has a hotel in, like, I think Cozumel, Mexico.
Yeah, like randomly.
Just very randomly. It is very random.
What's up, Gunky?
So basically the shuttles are a little bit of a downside there, and as you'll see when we get to talking about Magic Kingdom, there is a lake between the parking lot and the front gate.
Mm-hmm.
If you are on a Disney bus or a Disney boat, they will bring you right up to the gates of Magic Kingdom and in you go. If you are staying at a Good Neighbor hotel, they're going to drop you off in a parking lot, and then you have to get in line to take either the monorail or a ferry across the lake to get into Magic Kingdom. Because Walt, when he was designing it, he didn't want people to be able to see the real world from inside Magic Kingdom.
That's
so
right.
so he declared that the parking lot had to be across the lake. So, because he didn't want people to because he figured that if people saw the parking lot, they'd go, "Oh yeah, I have a car. Ah, damn, the car payment's due." Like he didn't want anything to remind you that the real world was a thing out there.
Kind of.
And so now, we get into the Disney owned hotels. If we go to the next slide, these are the value resorts. This is Pop Century, the one in the picture. That's where I choose to stay every time. Because honestly, the Disney resorts, if you are staying, it's either you stay at Pop Century or the next ones that are worth it are all the way up at the Deluxe, and Deluxe are like $600 a night. So, Pop Century has Skyliner access, which is Disney's newest mode of transportation, which is basically a ski gondola that lifts you up into the air about 40 or 50 feet and just zips you all over. You can use that to get to either Epcot or Hollywood Studios. The line can be ridiculously long, but it processes through in about 15 minutes. It is one of the fastest modes of transportation, and you just get in a little gondola and it ups you into the air and flies you off. And it has a little tour guide voice that tells you about where you're going and everything like that. The All-Star resorts are the other value resorts. The chaotic thing with them is because they are the cheapest ones on property, that is where sports teams stay. So ESPN's World of Sports is nearby. So they'll hold a lot of basketball, football, cheerleading contests, everything like that. So if you are staying there on the wrong day at All-Star Movie, Music, or Sports, you could have 45 football teams staying in that resort. When we went, there was a cheerleading contest going on, and so some of the cheerleaders ended up being hosted at Pop Century, and they were just filming dance TikToks everywhere one night. Like the Friday night, it was just cheerleaders tossing each other into the air as far as the eye could see. And so I can imagine, like, if it was an actual tournament with 200, 300 high school football players, the resort would get absolutely insane. The other thing is the All-Star ones, they don't have the Skyliner, so you are busing it everywhere. And the buses are the worst mode of transportation. Art of Animation is Pop Century's twin resort, but they have bigger rooms. They're meant for like families of 4 and 5, and there's rooms themed to Finding Nemo, Cars, The Little Mermaid, and Lion King.
Aww.
So those are multi-bedroom rooms. They're meant for like families of 4 and 5. And then they have like a giant swimming pool themed to like Finding Nemo and all those other themes. These resorts usually have a gift shop where you can buy like Disney merch, but they also have a cafeteria style dining area where they just serve like everything. Like we had pizza, burgers, chicken strips, and fries. There's a few healthy options, of course, but it's mostly like cafeteria dining and fast food. These are the ones that are really good if you plan on waking up, going straight to the parks, and coming back at midnight when they literally drag you kicking and screaming out of the park. Like, this is where you want to stay because there's not as many amenities at the resort. But if you're not planning at being at your hotel, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if this is just a place to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And so now if we go to the next slide, we go to the moderate resorts. Now, the moderate resorts, there's only a few of them. Some of them offer more transportation options. Like all 4 of these or 2 of them are connected to the Skyliner, which is Caribbean Beach and Coronado Springs. And Port Orleans, both of them are connected via boat, but strangely enough, the boat does not connect to Magic Kingdom like some of the later resorts do. It connects to Disney Springs, so like the shopping area. So Port Orleans is still a lot of the bus. And I looked into Caribbean Beach. The biggest problem is that it holds as many people as Pop Century. Pop Century has 4 or 5 story buildings. Caribbean Beach has 2-story buildings. So one of my friends stayed there, and she said she had to walk for 15 minutes to get to the bus. That's how sprawling this one resort is. So imagine walking 10 to 30,000 steps in the park, get back, maybe have tired children that you're carrying or children in strollers, and then have to push them for a 15-minute walk. And there's no elevator to the second floor. So you then have to drag that stroller up a flight of stairs.
Oof.
And you paid more money for the privilege of that than you would to stay at Pop Century, where it's 5-story buildings and there's an elevator. So again, this is why I say the moderate hotels are a weird middle. Like if you plan on spending more time at the resort, it's viable because the picture here, that's the pool at Caribbean Beach. They have like a full Spanish pirate fort with super soakers and everything, and the pool is sand bottom. Like it's a really good pool, but like you have to, like, to justify the price, you have to be like, yeah, I'm gonna have 2 days where I just don't leave the hotel.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And so then when we go to the next one, we get to the deluxe hotels. These are the ones that are worth it if you can justify spending the extra money. These are also, again, if you're planning on spending a significant amount of time at the resort. Animal Kingdom Lodge, and they all have special features. Animal Kingdom Lodge, some of the rooms look out over a savanna where they actually have giraffes and zebras and other animals, like real animals walking around. So you can just watch them from your hotel room. You can watch them be fed. You can watch them hang out, everything like that. Yacht and Beach Club has, number 1, the greatest milkshakes on the planet. I forgot to get a picture of them in time. They are $15 for a milkshake, come with a souvenir cup, but Tanya dragged me across Disney property to get them. We had to ride the Skyliner on our day off to the Epcot stop and then walk 20 minutes the wrong way from Epcot to go get those milkshakes, but it was worth it.
Damn.
And it has the biggest pool on property. I think it's one of the biggest pools on property. The Boardwalk Inn, that's old people central, man. That is like, there's a lot of like shopping nearby and like nightlife there too. So it's like if you want to go dancing and to Disney's equivalent of nightclubs or piano bars and stuff like that, that's where you're going to end up staying. The Contemporary Resort, that is the big triangular building that you see the monorail drive into. That's a hotel that the monorail runs through the middle.
That's insane.
So yeah, so that's one of the monorail resorts. The bottom three here are monorail resorts. They have that one, Polynesian, and Grand Floridian, Polynesian, and Contemporary. These three, they're on the monorail. So they have a monorail that can take you directly to Magic Kingdom or directly to Epcot. So the Contemporary, you don't even need to go outside. You just, go to the right floor in your hotel, hop on the train, and you're off to Magic Kingdom. The Grand Floridian is the fancy hotel. We're talking $1,000+ a night to stay there. In a base room. They have a restaurant there called Victoria and Albert's where there's a particular glass of water that is $100 for the glass of water.
Oh my God.
It is flown in glacier ice, melted into a glass of water. Again, it is fancy. It is stupid fancy. That's where, like, if you are getting married like at Disney World, like having your ceremony in Magic Kingdom, that's where you end up staying usually. It's the fanciest resort. And they spend 6 months of the year baking gingerbread
I've seen
because
that.
during the Christmas season, they build a gingerbread shop out of gingerbread in the lobby. So that is kind of their big claim to fame during Christmas.
Oh my God.
Yeah. They spend 6 months making the gingerbread for that. They start in, I think, June or July. So like there are people right now who go to work 9 to 5 baking gingerbread, and that is their job right now in the end of August.
That's insane.
Yeah. Like Disney pulls off some really insane things, especially when you get into talking about like the Christmas parties and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out they have like 3 warehouses full of nothing but Christmas decorations.
That seems like them.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like, yeah. And Wilderness Lodge, or Polynesian Resort is again on the monorail. They are building a new extension to it, which includes they just announced a swimming pool that is going to have like life-size Moana statues in it of her on her boat, and a whole new pool and everything like that. And those villas that are in the picture, those overwater villas are $2,000 a night to stay in.
Sheesh.
Yeah, those are $2,000 a night. And the main thing that is their claim to fame is that you can see the fireworks in Magic Kingdom from them because you are directly across the lake from the Magic Kingdom.
Wow.
Wow, yeah. And then the Wilderness Lodge it's also in the Magic Kingdom area. It's a little more secluded, but the good thing with it is they have a boat that will take you directly to Magic Kingdom. You walk down, you get a coffee on your way past the shop, and you just stand on a boat, and they boat you right into Magic Kingdom.
Damn.
Yep. And then the final and most expensive option is on the next tab, which are the Disney World Deluxe Villas. That picture is one of the cabins at Copper Creek. That is a 2-bedroom cabin. Many of them run around $2,000 a night. That's what those bungalows are part of. Those bungalows are part of this. And you can rent them without a Disney Vacation Club or timeshare program. But the points will save you a lot of money if you were to be planning to stay at these. But a DVC membership can be $50,000 to $100,000. But it's a 25-year contract where you get points every year for 25+ years until you die. So this is meant for people who are going to go to Disney every year for their vacation without fail. You can also rent unused points on David's DVC. So you can actually stay at these resorts far cheaper by paying to use someone's unused points.
Oh my god.
And so when we go to Hawaii, we're planning on staying at Disney's Aulani Resort, which Disney has a 5-star resort in Oahu, Hawaii.
Wow.
And normally it's about $1,000 a night to stay there. But renting DVC points brings it down to about $250 to $300 a night.
Oh my lord.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like that's the thing. Like Disney is all about knowing tricks. Like especially once we get into the strategy, you're going to see what I mean, because all of this, like the deluxe and the deluxe villas, they let you stay in the park late. So there's tricks to all of this that makes your stay more worth it. Because if you take into account, when I do the math on my upcoming trip to Disney World, first week of December, we are paying as a family of 3 $2 per minute that we are in the parks. It is $2 per minute to be in those parks if you're in them from open till close. So every moment counts. Skipping lines, using line skipping things, my strategy to always find short lines, they all matter so much. Because if you stand in line for 90 minutes for a ride when you could have got on it in 10, you've spent $180 between flying there, the hotel, the food, and everything like that, just to stand in line.
Damn.
So if we go to the next slide, it's going to be what to eat, because when we go down to the next slide, it's grocery delivery. You can have your groceries delivered to your Disney hotel. All Disney hotels at concierge have refrigerators and a giant pantry. They can actually accept your grocery delivery and refrigerate it for you. We ordered our groceries before we left Canada for our last trip. And because we knew we were going to be landing so late that the grocery stores would have already been closed. So we ordered DoorDash grocery deliveries. And when we got there, the milk and the juice and things like that we ordered to have for breakfast in the hotel room was still refrigerated.
That's insane.
Yeah, so basically, or like I say in the slide, to have access to quick and easy snacks for your kid, fruit pouches, drinkable yogurts, goldfish crackers, you can order them all, because a single banana in a snack stall in Disney World is $4.
Oof. Oh.
For a single banana. So, or you order some stuff to the hotel room and call it a day.
That makes sense.
Because, like we ordered some boxes of cereal, we ordered some milk, and we just put it in the mini fridge, and then we had a steady supply of breakfast. Especially because when you're eating lunch and dinner in the parks, you're eating big meals, so you don't need a huge breakfast, and you're gonna die if you have a huge breakfast. So you just kind of, because part of the strategy is you're gonna go on the most intense ride of the day first. That's the strategy. It's called rope drop. We'll get to there.
Oh god.
But
okay.
So imagine having a big, greasy bacon and egg breakfast and then go on a roller coaster. Yeah, you're better off with, muffins, some cereal, something bready that isn't going to, be a what Disney calls a protein spill later. that is their cast member code for somebody puked. And so now if we go to the quick service restaurants, I listed some examples. This is Disney's in-park fast food. And so Columbia Harbor House, they sell fish and chicken strips. And
Say don't get all I hear is challenge. No.
No. Again, you pay way too much money. Big greasy bacon egg sandwich, and then hit Space Mountain. Oh,
protein
God.
spills everywhere.
Protein spills everywhere, especially if the lights are on and you realize just how close you're coming to some of the bars. There's a
Oh.
reason that ride is in the dark.
Yeah, no kidding.
But yeah, this is the fast food. Meals run, $10 to $20 per adult. Um, you know, I liked Columbia Harbor House. It was like fish and fries and chicken strips and stuff like that. These are like your simpler meals where like these are where you take a child because the child will eat everything on the menu because they have the option of chicken nuggies. Chicken nuggies are here. This mac and cheese comes with everything. You're fine.
Mm-hmm.
And they even have themed ones like Docking Bay 7 is in Galaxy's Edge. That's where that's in the Star Wars area. Regal Eagle is themed after the eagle from the Muppets, and it is in the America Pavilion in Epcot.
Yes, Sam. I love
Yes,
him.
yes. And yeah, this is Disney World specifically because Disneyland, whole other strategy.
Whole other strat game that's to unlock for there.
Oh yeah. Because that one there where everything is much more walkable.
That'll be another presentation that we have after Gamer has done his thorough research.
Next thorough research is going to be Universal Studios because I'm going there when they open Epic Universe.
Fantastic. Keep us updated.
Yes. And Satuli Canteen is in the Pandora area of Animal Kingdom, which is like the blue avatar people.
Yes.
So now we go on to table service. Again, this is the weird middle child where it's expensive, but if you're going to do it, you might as well go up a step. So Liberty Tree Tavern, Le Cellier Steakhouse, let's see, Hollywood Brown Derby, Tiffin's. These meals are like $35 to $60 per adult. They're sit down, waiters, waitresses, usually like chef prepared meals. Like we kind of want to do Liberty Tree Tavern when we go because they'll do like a turkey dinner. And it's like we're going for Christmas, so it's kind of fitting to have a turkey dinner while we're there during the Christmas season.
Yeah.
But aside from that, like the rest of these, and Le Cellier is what I threatened Air Canada with when they delayed my flight because I told them, I'm like, I know I'm entitled to food when my flight is delayed. I will go to Le Cellier and eat $50 steaks until I puke. Because Canada, our goal, the Be Our Guest, the Beauty and the Beast restaurant is a character meal technically because Beast walks through.
Yeah. They also have one that you can have at like the top of the castle or something where you get to meet all the princesses.
Yes.
I know that because I actually did it.
Yes, that one's Cinderella's Royal Table, and that's actually on the next slide, which we're about to go to now.
Character meals, because just again, like you said. That's where I was. That's where I sat. Yeah. It's pretty. Yeah. It's really pretty. Yeah.
It's the only way to get into the castle. It is the only thing that is in the castle. So it is the only way in unless you win a sweepstake because there is actually a hotel room in the castle that was meant to be where Walt would stay. But it is only available to win. There like you could offer Disney $1 million and they will not let you stay at that hotel. Nope.
You have to win it.
You have to win it. You have to. Yeah. See, the night, if I ever won it, the night I would pick would be Halloween night because October 31st into November 1st, they changed the decorations from the entire park from Halloween to Christmas within 6 hours.
And it's so cool.
It is such a cool transformation. They are completely insane. And yeah, I'm going to Disney in December. We were thinking about doing Halloween, but Halloween is tail end of hurricane season.
Right.
And I'm like, let's not get our vacation hurricaned out. Yeah. Last time we went in May and we're Canadian, so we damn near melted. Yeah. Like it was like
you'll like
40 degrees Celsius. Yeah, I
used to live there, and it's better in the winter. It's not. It's I think 70 is how low it gets in Florida.
Yeah, about that. Like we went, we got there 1st of May in 2023, and as we're checking in, the guy goes, "Oh, and don't worry, the hotel pool is heated," and I just go, "Please turn that off. Why is it heated? It's too hot as is. Why are you heating the pool? Throw ice in it." I'm Canadian. I'm going to die.
My mom got us a reservation here, and it was mainly because I've got 2 younger sisters, and she heard that it was one of the only consistent ways that you can see all of the Disney princesses, or at least a large amount of them, because they
Yes.
have a bunch of them that just walk around these tables and they just take autographs. It's the greatest.
Yes, and basically, some of the princesses have some of them are used. What you'll notice is some character meet and greets have permanent schedules.
Mm-hmm.
Others happen willy nilly, and what that is Disney will use their data and track. Oh, there's too many people in this side of the park. Send out Jafar to this side of the park, and he'll appear over there, and it's meant to pull people away. They use the characters as traffic management in the park.
Wild.
Yeah. So Garden Grill, their character dining, is based in the giant greenhouse in Epcot. And the restaurant actually rotates. It's a rotating restaurant that rotates through the garden. So you actually are seeing into the greenhouse where the food is grown. Like the vegetables are grown in the greenhouse, and then they serve them to you there. They also have a fish farm in there, and that's where Disney gets all of its fish that it serves on property.
Oh my god.
Yep. Disney also has a giant solar farm in the shape of Mickey's head on property.
Yes.
So yes.
Yes.
Disney is very much of the logic of we can make more money if we don't have to pay for goods and services.
Exactly. And we're going to make it all themed after the mouse. And that's...
Yes. Also, the greenhouse in Epcot is a official U.S. Department of Agriculture lab. It is actually in partnership with the U.S. government, where they do research on hydroponics. So it is a fully legit lab.
Okay, cool. Goddamn.
Yep. Hollywood and Vine is where you can meet characters during the afternoon. You can also meet the Disney Junior characters at breakfast.
Aww.
So like Fancy Nancy and Vampirina and like that was the one we were gonna possibly take our daughter to, but we ended up going to Tusker House in Animal Kingdom because that is a character meal for breakfast where you meet Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy.
Aww.
Yeah. And so when we were there, it was the one thing is it's a buffet breakfast. So it was me making mad dashes to the buffet to fill plates and then running back while child and wife were waiting to make sure that they didn't miss a character coming around. So that's the one downside of a character meal is a character meal takes a straight up hour and a half to experience because you have to wait for all the characters to come around.
Yeah.
So if you have a limited amount of time in the park and you want to be riding rides, then you're a little slowed down. Mm-hmm. And then the next slide is the question, is the dining plan worth it?
I have heard Disney debates for either or.
There is, and the rule is, if you are going to sit down at a character meal every day, character meal, not table service, character meal every day, and you have to be day drinking every day. You have to have alcohol with both your lunch and your dinner every single day without fail.
I'm fine with that.
To profit on this. Yeah, and you have to order some of the more expensive food as well.
Done.
So usually you have to have a little bit more expensive taste. You have to be like, yes, I want my third lobster meal of the week. Yeah, you have to have some more expensive taste. You can beat the dining plan, but for the average person, you can't do it. If you're not day drinking every day, you're not beating the Disney dining plan.
I feel like with how Epcot has become the day drinking capital of what I feel is Florida.
Oh,
that
yes.
shouldn't be hard.
Oh, yeah, the World Showcase. Oh, yeah, but see, the thing
they
is,
have like
you
fake
only have
tattoos
so
that
many...
allow you to keep track of it. I've seen them. They have little
Yep.
like temporary tattoos you can stick on your arm so you can keep track of all the countries you've hit.
When you're drinking around the world, yeah, that's what it's called, is drinking around the world. But the problem is the dining plan isn't unlimited alcoholic drinks. It is you get a quick service meal and a table restaurant meal. So, and a snack. So it's not even, oh, I'm going to get it and then I'm just going to go into liver failure in Epcot and get my money's worth and call it a day. It is
so specific.
Yes, it is very strategic. You have to, like, but a lot of people, they like it because they are prepaying for their food, so they don't have to worry about, oopsie daisy, I spent too much on souvenirs, now I'm going to starve to death.
Makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
So now that all of the pre-information is ready, we can move on to the next slide, which is when we start to get into the strategy of the parks. All of that was just the primer for the main event here.
All of this is the things that you need to know before you get to the meat of it.
Yes. So, Magic Kingdom opened October 1st, 1971. It is 6 lands: Main Street USA, Adventureland, Frontierland, Liberty Square, Fantasyland, and Tomorrowland. And the order you go to those lands makes all of the difference in your strategy. All of it. Because if you try to go to Adventureland first when you rope drop, you're going to be sorely disappointed. Adventureland opens half an hour to an hour later than the rest of the park.
Oh.
So if you rope drop and you go straight there, you're going to be waiting for half an hour.
Yeah.
But
not fun.
But if you are staying off property and not getting in early, you're actually better off starting at Adventureland, because you are getting into the park at the same time it's opening.
Mm-hmm.
So the people who got in ahead of you don't have that advantage.
I see. This is so new. Okay.
Yeah. So if you go to the next tab, I actually have the map of the park.
Okay.
Because, again, all of this matters.
Okay. Walk us through.
Okay. So, number one thing you do when you get into Magic Kingdom is you rope drop and you run for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, which is right where the words Fantasyland are. Okay. That is the ride that if you were to do the Lightning Lane premium pass, that's not included. You have to pay extra for that, $15 per rider.
Okay.
To get on that ride.
We have to run Shadow
for just that. And the thing is, you're not allowed to run. You gotta speed walk like Hal from Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah.
And so you get there and then immediately book it to Adventureland, because studies have shown where most people are right-handed, they will tend to turn right when given an option. So most people who are coming in through Main Street USA will turn right into Tomorrowland. So if you start in Adventureland after it opens up and work your way backwards around the park clockwise, you will actually have less people in your way.
You had me at studies have shown. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Fantasyland, Seven Dwarfs Minecart, Adventureland. What are we hitting? Is it just everything there?
Adventureland, you want to run for the Jungle Cruise.
Uh-huh.
You get to Jungle Cruise, then you hit Pirates of the Caribbean. You hope to get through those relatively quickly, and then you're going to probably want to hit Frontierland for Big Thunder Mountain.
Yes.
Right now, though, the strategy has changed a little bit. You're actually going to want to run straight to Frontierland to get on Tiana's. Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Right,
just opened. It's the newest ride. Yep. So you want to get there and if you get there and the line is already formed, then you detour back to the other ones. Because you want to kind of tackle all of this, because pretty soon that river is not going to exist anymore. The river over in Liberty Square, they are filling that in, and they are turning that into the new Cars area, and then they are doing Beyond Big Thunder, which is they're also going to do a Villain's Land in the back.
Oh, yes, I've heard about this. Yes, I'm excited actually about this. I'm really excited about that.
Yes. Yeah, so that whole area of the park is being updated. It's probably going to be built around the Haunted Mansion so that it all fits in, because they don't want you to see mismatching areas from the same place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, the goal is you tackle Seven Doors Mine Train first, then you come over here and you work your way clockwise around the park. And the other thing is, for your pictures, that's actually what looks best. Adventureland is jungle, Frontierland is desert. They look best in the sun. They look best, the Wild West is always sunny and sun bleached and all that.
Yeah.
So that's when your pictures there are going to look the best. Tomorrowland is all neon. It's all lights. It's all spaceships. So you want it to be dark over there. Hell, they lined the park up so that if they're doing a rocket launch at Canaveral, you can see the rocket flying past Tomorrowland. If you look in the direction of Tomorrowland, you'll actually see the real spaceship launching. And yes, no one drinks like Gaston.
No.
Gaston's Tavern is in Fantasyland.
Yes, it is. I remember that because I wanted to go. Oh my god.
Yes. Yeah, Gaston's Tavern, and they sell Mickey-shaped cinnamon rolls the size of a dinner plate.
That's adorable! Okay. So, Adventureland hit it, Tiana's thing first, though, and then you just basically curve around.
Yeah, you curve around so that basically you're following the sun. Everybody else is kind of defaulting to turning right, and they end up turning into Tomorrowland. Yeah, the go-karts in Tomorrowland are kind of fun, unless you're me, and then I just have to cram myself into them like a sardine. I don't really fit in them too well.
I don't like them that much. You know what I unabashedly love as a 22-year-old woman? I love the little Toontown that they have. I find it adorable.
That's in Disneyland, yeah.
I know, but I toured Mickey's house and Minnie's house or something, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. Now, I just wanted it to be said.
Yes, but as you come around, the one thing I'm gonna warn. I know there's a lot of slightly older fellows in the chat who are about my age. The Tron coaster.
It's not a read.
The Tron coaster. It's not built for us. It's not meant for us. It's not meant to happen.
It's not meant for us.
I have a picture of me on that blasted thing because I went first. Okay? And you sit on it like a crotch rocket motorcycle. You are hunched over like a madman. My spine hurt by the time I got off. We were doing rider swap. So my wife and child are sitting. Oh, yes, it's a Tron coaster. Flying glowing motorcycles.
Sounds so
sick.
Sick.
My wife and child are sitting on the elevated sidewalk. So when they launch you, you go immediately vertical and start to do this wide curve over. And I look down and I see my wife and daughter and I go, yes, I get to see my family for the last time. And then I'm back into the building in the dark.
Oh,
and
no.
I'm in the corners screaming. I got off. We were originally going to do rider swap so that my wife could go on it after me. My wife has a bad back.
No.
And so I'm like, I can barely walk. No bueno. No good. And the way they lock you in is they lock you with pegs that go behind your knees. So if you have thicker calves, you can't necessarily fit because this ride was originally built for Disney in Shanghai.
Oh.
So, Shanghai, of
Smaller
course,
people.
The average population is not as healthy and husky sized as your average North American rider.
That's right. Yes. That's what Gamer's saying.
Yeah, you get pegged on this ride.
Yes.
Yeah. This sounds like it is not big guy friendly. It is not.
Well, now I'm
And
interested.
they actually have test motorcycles for you to sit on before you get in the line to make sure that you can sit on them and lock yourself in place before you wait in line for an hour and a half to get on the thing. Just
Good Lord.
But in this case, the clouds do actually save lives. Yes, they do. Yeah. So that ride not meant for the bigger fellas like me, not meant for the older fellas who want to be able to walk. Just it's like you want to be able to walk tomorrow?
Okay, that makes sense.
So and then yeah, that's basically the strategy for this one. So now we go on to Epcot. Epcot is the park I am the most proud of how my strategy turned out, and this is where the hotel kicks in. Okay. October 1st, 1982, it's opened. It's currently, they zoned it into 4 lands: World Celebration, World Discovery, World Nature, and World Showcase. So if we move on to the next one, that's the map. Now, the advantage that you have if you stay at a Skyliner resort is you don't enter at the same place as everybody else. You actually enter back in the World Showcase between France and the United Kingdom at the International Gateway. You actually enter directly to the back of the park.
Yeah.
So, and here's the key thing. None of the shops and none of the restaurants in the World Showcase open until 11 a.m. So nobody goes into the World Showcase until 11 a.m. So you get off the Skyliner, immediately turn right, go into France, and the Remy ride is there, the Ratatouille ride.
Oh, yeah.
You'll get on that in 20 minutes, is what we did, because we were the first ones there. Quickly rode that, and then we quickly speed walked all the way past all of the other buildings to get to Norway to go on the Frozen ride. And again, waited no time.
Yeah.
We waited 20 minutes for each of them. Both of them normally have an hour-long wait. Then, by then, we had our boarding group for the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, because it's a brand new ride, so you have to enter a raffle first thing in the morning to get it. So we got our return time while we were in the line for Frozen, left Frozen, immediately did rider swap on Guardians of the Galaxy, and then I went and did test track through the single rider line, because I only waited about 5 minutes. So I had gone on all 4 of those rides before 11 a.m.
Good Lord.
Those are the 4 biggest rides in Epcot, and I did all 4 of them before 11 a.m. Most of them require more than an hour of waiting if you do them later in the day.
Goddamn. Okay. Solid.
Yeah. Yep. So then we just kind of finished up all the rest of the stuff in the upper section. We went to the greenhouse. You do all that. Basically, the key is you want to get through those 4 big ones so that you can come back and do the other ones that you want again. Like, basically what my strategy is you do everything as fast as possible so that you can go back and experience it again later.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yep. And so and then there's hidden rides like Mexico. A lot of people don't know there's a ride in there, the 3 Caballeros.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
It is a boat ride with Donald and the other members of the 3 Caballeros.
Aww.
And it goes inside the big pyramid and everything like that, and you're chasing Donald around South America. Yep. So there's a few hidden things.
3 Caballeros.
Yes, I'm telling them about the 3 Caballeros.
Oh, okay.
Go stream.
Yes. Yeah. So when we were here, we ate at the Regal Eagle in the American Pavilion.
Right. Top right over here.
Yep, right up at the top. The Canada Pavilion is where Le Cellier is. It is a fancy steak restaurant.
Oh, and I touched it. I'm sorry. There, we're back.
And Figment farts on you in the Imagination Pavilion. He sprays you skunk spray. Yeah. Yeah, so that's basically the whole strategy to Epcot is if you stay at a resort that is Skyliner access or in the Epcot resort area, you can actually go in through the back door of the park and you are at an empty portion of the park while everybody else is still trying to get in through the World Showcase and taking pictures with the giant golf ball.
Damn. Okay,
yeah, you pay to be skunked.
Figment kicks
and so
ass.
now
I will not hear Figment slander. Epcot. Well, I like it, but not because of Epcot.
And so that's basically the strategy there. So then you go on to Hollywood Studios, the next slide.
Word.
Hollywood Studios is divided into 9 neighborhoods. The most important of which are Sunset Avenue, Galaxy's Edge, and Toy Story Land.
Toy Story Land! I love Toy Story Land.
Yes, Toy Story Land is a blast. The new Toy Story restaurant in there, Woody's Roundup Barbecue, is delicious.
Yeah.
It is really, really good. We tried that. It is just unlimited barbecue meat, and then you get the meat sweats, and then you die of the heat because there's not a lot of shade in Hollywood Studios.
Nope.
Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom, there are not a lot of shade in them. And they don't have the advantage that Epcot has. Epcot doesn't have a lot of shade either, but there's a lake in the middle of it, so you have a nice breeze the whole time. You definitely feel the heat more in these ones. Yeah, Tawny, my wife, is now in the chat going, very few trees. Yeah. So then if you move on to the map of Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah. So this one here at the back of the park. At the back of the park, this is Galaxy's Edge. This one here, you're going to want to rope drop Slinky Dog Dash, which is the giant roller coaster in the Toy Story area. Or if you're more into Star Wars, you can also do Rise of the Resistance. Rise of the Resistance can be a little risky because it breaks down a lot. Rise of the Resistance, in the first year that it operated, it broke down on average more than once per day. It is so many moving parts and special effects that there's just so much that can break it. So it's a little risky. You might line up and then have to come back later and have lost a good portion of your rope drop time. This is a park I fully recommend. This one in Magic Kingdom, I fully recommend getting the line skipping feature because the line skipping feature is best used on big rides, and those 2 parks have the most big rides. So essentially, you could get a line skip for Mickey and Minnie's. The Runaway. No, not Runaway. I'm blanking on the ride, but Mickey and Minnie's ride in the center of the park there, or Slinky Dog Dash.
Railway.
Runaway Railway. Yes, that's it. I kept thinking it had picnic in the name because Mickey and Minnie are technically on a picnic and Goofy effed up the train. But that's the story of that ride.
Well,
yeah, Goofy effed up the train, and Mickey and Minnie are trying to save you from dying.
Love it.
Yeah. So those rides, those 3 big rides are the best. Sunset Boulevard has Tower of Terror, Aerosmith's roller coaster ride. I think they're actually finally retheming it away from Aerosmith. Solid, yeah. And then the Cars experience where everybody talks to Lightning McQueen. Hollywood Studios is a lot of shows as well. So there's like the Indiana Jones show. So basically the strategy for this one here is very much like Epcot. You want to bang out those very intense rides first thing before everybody else gets there. Like, because rope drop, when you're staying on property, you have an hour head start on everybody else. So if you can get through one ride and in line for the next one before over half the population enters the park, you're doing pretty good. So that's basically the best strategy. The biggest thing with Hollywood studios is the problem that it doesn't form a nice, easy thing to navigate. There's no easy way to navigate. If you are on Sunset Boulevard and you want to get to Galaxy's Edge, you have a long walk.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. You are going to walk. Yes, Slinky Dog is our daughter's must ride for this time.
Aww.
Because she was furious. She was 2 inches too short last time we went. And currently, she practices the ride, which is she brings me an empty clothes basket and she sits in it, and we bring up a ride video on the TV, and I lift her in the clothes basket and I swoosh her around to the ride video.
That's so cute.
And that is her practice. We have been practicing a lot of the roller coasters like that, and some of the scarier rides to make sure that she's not afraid of like the Haunted Mansion and a few other things, so that we don't have crying child.
Yes.
Yeah, pro dad mode. Yeah, it is dad mood, like dad move. And she will, like, if she finds an empty clothes basket, she is bringing it to me and going, puppy coaster, because she can't say Slinky Dog Dash yet. She's 4, but it's a big word jumble.
I love it.
Puppy dog coaster. But she got revenge on Toy Story Land by going on Alien Swirling Saucers 7 times in a row.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sometimes not empty. Yeah. Sometimes she will find folded clothes and just hurl them on the floor.
I used to use empty laundry baskets to attempt to trap my brother when we were younger, as if he was an animal.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yes. Pre-built cages, That's viable. Yeah. But yeah. The Alien Swirling Saucers, because everybody was in line for Slinky Dog Dash, there was nobody in line. So we went on it the first 2 times, and there was nobody in line the second time, and the cast member literally just went, "Does she want to ride it again?"
Yeah.
And we ask her, and she goes, "Yeah," and we go, "Yeah," and he just restarts the ride. There was nobody else in line, so the cast member is just like, "Does she want to go again?" "Yeah." And so we rode it like 7 times in a row. That's the other hack with Disney World, is the cast members. They are the greatest people on the planet. They have bad days like everybody else, but my God, they'll bend over backwards for you. Like, they'll do their best. Like, as long as you're nice and you don't demand anything. Like, we realized halfway through our last, or like more than halfway, there's only like an hour left of the meet and greets, that we didn't have autographs from Donald and Daisy. And Donald and Daisy and Magic Kingdom are 2 separate lines. We weren't going to have time to make it through. So I just walked up and I'm like, "Hey, we already met Donald and Daisy elsewhere. Can you just get us their autographs in our little autograph book so we have the complete collection?" And the cast member just took it in, and that way we weren't waiting through the line. And because I'm like, I don't want to skip the line because that's not fair, but can the book skip the line? Like, and so they quickly got the signatures, and we now have a completed book for our first trip.
Oh,
so
wow.
We're good. And so we did the cast member shout out form. So we made sure that they got their kudos and all that. But like the cast members are fantastic. And then we go on to Animal Kingdom. So Animal Kingdom is the newest park, opened in 1998.
There we go.
Yeah, it opened in 1998, divided into 7 lands. The Oasis, which is on your way in. A lot of people don't realize that is a land.
The hottest part, your wife says.
Yes. Yep, it is. There are all trees, but no shade. The trees are tall and vertical, but not leafy.
Huh.
So...
Fuck that park.
Yeah. Yeah. you can see my wife's reaction. Yeah, oh yeah, fuck that park. That was our first day too. So we were extra new to the heat because we had left Canada in May to put it in perspective, we landed after our vacation and it was snowing.
Oh my lord.
So like, and then it was like 90 degrees in Florida that week. So we went from snowing to 90 degrees with no shade. God help us all. But yes, so there's Discovery Island, Pandora, Africa, Asia, and for now, Dinoland USA, which is getting bulldozed currently, and Rafiki's Planet Watch. Dinoland is being replaced with South America, and there is going to be an Indiana Jones ride replacing the dinosaur ride.
Cool.
So that's what they're doing there. Basically, Dinoland is also the hottest part of the park because it is themed to be a parking lot carnival in a redneck town where they discovered dinosaur bones and all the locals set up a tourist trap. That is the theme of that area.
That's so funny.
Yes, that's why when you look at the ground, there are lines like it's a parking lot. That's not an accident. Disney did that on purpose, but what it turns into is that whole section of the park is a giant slab of asphalt.
Yeah, because it's
soaking up heat.
Lot. Yeah.
It is literally a parking lot tourist trap, like one that you would like leave the freeway to get to.
Still sad that it's being bulldozed. I agree, because I think that would be been cool to see.
Yeah, like it very much it's a lot of fun. Like Dinoland USA was it was a fair bit of fun, but South America is going to be just so much better. They're going to have some Encanto stuff going on. They're going to have, like they're fully taking advantage, because right now they have Africa and Asia, so the other jungle place that they're missing is just straight up South America. So
sick though.
And Disney's also very careful to always say that Animal Kingdom is not a zoo, even though they have a drive-through safari.
Why is that? Never mind. Maybe I shouldn't ask why that is.
There was a whole series of ads when Animal Kingdom first opened in like the late 90s, and literally the only words were every cast member leaning into the camera going, "It's not a zoo." And there's like over and over and over again. But the thing is, there's actually a special on Disney Plus that shows the behind the scenes of how they take care of the animals. And the funny thing is, Disney is actually one of the best at animal care, period. And the real reason Disney has more licenses for handling endangered animals than almost any other zoo on the planet. Disney has gorillas, Disney has tigers, Disney has all of these. These are animals that a zoo has to prove themselves before they're allowed to have them.
Yeah.
Because they're so critically endangered. And actually, Disney has currently, I think they had 3 baby rhinos born in like a year and a half on the savannah, which is huge. So like, and right now there's a baby elephant too. So we are going to Animal Kingdom solely to see the baby elephant.
That's so
Otherwise,
cute.
we would have skipped Animal Kingdom and spent an extra day in a different park. But they were like, yeah, there's a baby elephant. And I'm like, it's still only going to be about the size of a small car by the time we get there.
Oh my gosh.
So, and yeah, so we saw, last time we went, they had some baby rhinos. And so we saw the baby rhinos. And yeah, now they have a baby elephant. They're actually one of the most successful breeding programs for endangered animals. And part of the reason why is when you watch the behind the scenes and you realize how much money they put into the care, what you realize is Disney, number one, they have an infinite budget. Keep in mind, Disney World and the theme parks are over 50% of Disney as a company's revenue. They make more money than all of their movies, all of everything combined. Disney makes more money off of their parks.
I should say, because the movies are a finite resource of the amount of people who would see it in theaters and then watch it after, and then they can get money from it later. But the parks are huge.
Yes, the parks are infinite. The parks are I have a friend who is my age. She is 31 years old. She has been to Disney 31 times. And this is, keep in mind, flights from Canada, our flights alone are $1,600.
Yeah.
This is not someone who can easily drive down. This is an effort.
Mm-hmm.
And so then when we move on to the Animal Kingdom map.
Yeah. I didn't realize that a lot of these places were so big.
Yes, to put it in perspective, the Disney's property is the size of San Francisco.
Jeez.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is the size of a large city, what Disney owns in the middle of Florida. These properties, like our town's shopping center, where like our whole mall, our whole shopping area, like Staples, Walmart, all of these things are in one place, and that is the size of Pop Century. Just the hotel. Yeah, this is huge. It is sprawling. It is huge. It is. Yeah. So Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom is very much the strategy is get everything done before it closes. Everything closes in Animal Kingdom early because it's for the health of the animals.
Makes sense.
So essentially, all of the animal stuff closes at 5, so you have to do all of that early in order to get it done. Otherwise, it will just close without you. And so that's essentially the strategy for there. So then the final slide is the extras. The extras are things like magic bands, lightning lanes, the parties, and VIP guides. Magic bands are your smart wristbands that you wear. They act as your hotel room key. You can charge things to your room. They let you check in and out of rides. They manage everything for your stay. For the love of God, buy a magic band. They are like $15. For the love of all that is holy, buy a magic band. Don't be cheap. If you are spending this much on a vacation, get a magic band. Lightning lanes, same thing. The service for the day, $15 to $30 a day. But like I said, you're spending $2 a minute that you're in the park. So if you skip even one line, you are going to have profited, especially, like I said, Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
Then you have the after hours parties. Mickey's Not So Scary is currently running. The first party has already occurred, and they are going to run until Halloween. And the tickets for these parties for 3 people run about $700 to $800 for the after hour party. But keep in mind the capacity for the park is only 20% of its normal thing, so everything ends up being a walk-on. We experienced what the park is like at 20% capacity because we were in Magic Kingdom on Star Wars Day. So everybody else was at Hollywood Studios. We are Star Wars fans, but not stand in a crowd of 30,000 people Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
So we were in an empty Magic Kingdom. Like we could look around and we wouldn't see other guests. Like it was us and the staff. And so we just had full access. Yeah, we're going to the Christmas party when we go. We already have our tickets.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
Last year, the meals looked incredible. I would honestly fight someone to get one of the meals that they had last year. And they have Snope, which is soap snow. The snow that you see in the picture is bubbles, and that's how they make it snow in Florida.
I love it.
And then the final thing I'm going to mention is the VIP guides. Those are they wear a plaid vest. They are $8,000 for the day.
Oh, yeah.
They will guide you and a party of 8, and they are required for celebrities. When we were there, if I knew sports or like NBA better, I know that I saw a pro athlete. Yeah. I know that I saw a pro athlete because I saw the tallest man I have ever seen in my life.
And a plaid shirt.
Walking around with his family, being guided by them, and 2 of his quote-unquote family members had earpieces in.
Yeah.
They were his bodyguards.
There's a family friend of ours that all went in on doing the guided tour thing, and it was like the most insane experience ever. They said, but it is crazy.
Oh yeah, like they skip you past every line.
Yep.
You never wait for anything. You don't wait for food. You don't. You have like express transportation between parks. Like if you have the money, and like the thing is, if you're going with 8 people and everybody's willing to cough up $1,000, you could definitely do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, especially if you have a limited amount of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's essentially it. That's essentially this is the fundamentals. Like there's another hour and a half that I could do on this.
Oh my god.
But like this will get you through like your first vacations. Yeah.
So all that I'm hearing is that if I ever decided to go to any Disney franchise area, I must contact you immediately.
Oh yeah, there's a reason I'm a registered travel agent.
Doc. Yes.
There's a reason I'm a registered travel agent.
Is there anything else? There's good. Holy shit. Okay. That's insane.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
All right. Does anyone have any questions for Gamer about his expertise in this arena? If you want to figure out where he is, he's in my Discord. Contact him there for all travel needs.
What I heard was never go to Disney without selling a few organs first.
Fucking accurate.
Pretty much.
Alcohol tours.
That's called drinking around the world, and you'll usually have liver failure by the time you reach Japan.
Tell us about the amazing milkshakes and cookies. Yes, he mentioned something about a $15 milkshake that was like he had seen God. $15 milkshake that he'd seen God for, and it was in the one place that was like a ways away from where you were at. Was it the yacht club or something?
Yeah, it was at the Yacht and Beach Club, and we had to specifically go out of our way.
Yeah.
And she's currently mad because her souvenir cup melted in the dishwasher.
No.
And so now she says that we have a reason that we need to get 2 of the milkshakes when we go again.
Yes.
So to replace her last cup and get her
a new
cup.
one. Of course. Yeah. You need 2. You need 2. All right. I think I should pull up Jen's next time, and if Jen's still in chat, then she can pop on.
Jen's here and anxious.
You are fine.
Oh no,
You're gonna do great.
Fine. I'm just an anxious bean. I'm literally the little orange guy from Inside Out 2 runs my head.
Oh, we have a question.
All right, I'm gonna mute.
What is the most optimal path the world of booze toward to maximize using the same park strategy? Just before you go, can you answer this?
Optimal path for world tour of booze. Yeah, okay, so that is actually a super hotly debated thing in Disney circles, because you're gonna start around the lake from either one way or the other, and it's you either start with Mexico and you start with like tequila shots, or you start with Canada and you go like Canada, UK, France, Japan or Morocco, and that way. Or you start things off in Mexico and go straight into like the European countries. So that is actually like people will argue in like there's whole YouTube videos debating this on like allears.net and Disney Food Blog. Like these YouTube channels do nothing but study Disney World.
Oh my God.
And they straight up have whole hour-long videos comparing them where like one of their journalists will start in Mexico and the other one will start in Canada, and they see who has the better experience by the end.
All right. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, that is actually a huge debate. It's a weird debate, but it's a huge debate.
Also, I'm sorry, I got fancy with my presentation, so like there's transitions, there's a whole bunch.
Oh, that's gonna be great.
I had fun designing this. I think for the most part, people will be able to like see what I'm saying, and if not, we'll
totally
go with it.
All right, you ready? I'm gonna pull it up now.
Okay.
So you want to give a little intro to what you're talking about?
All right. So I have decided that I want to info dump. Also, is my volume okay? Can you guys hear me?
You might want to turn up a little bit more, but beyond that, you should be good.
Okay, here, give me a sec then. Let me adjust my settings.
There you go.
All right. Is that a bit better?
Perfect.
Okay, cool. It has to be at an even number. Hee 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 hee. Um, all right. So I decided that I want to info dump about my favorite little character, Cress. Cress is my baby girl. She is my favorite D&D character, and I love her to death. And so I wanted to share her with you guys.
Oh. All right. Next slide.
Yep. Next slide.
Big blank screen.
Oop. There we go. And then go ahead and click again. Thank you, Shadow.
Love it, Shadow.
So the thing about the setting that Cress is in is that she is from the Feywild. And I know a lot of people hear about the Feywild from, like, changelings entering the world, or, satyrs. But this campaign is solely based in the in the Feywild. And so there's a couple rules that you have to follow when it comes to the Feywild. Number one, emotions rule everything. And when we say emotions rule everything, emotions rule everything. So if like time is just dragging on and on for you, shut up crazy, I see that. But if you feel like time is dragging on, time will genuinely drag on. If you feel like time is flying. So emotions rule a lot. If you are having a good day, the way we travel is we roll a couple d6s and matching dice and things. But if you're not feeling so good, you might only roll one d6, or you might not roll any d6, depending on how your mood is. If you genuinely are down in the dumps and you feel like you have a cloud over your head, you will have a rain cloud over your head. Emotions are so key here. The second is tell no lies. Now, if you are Fae, you cannot lie. You cannot tell an outright lie. However, you can be very specific with your wording. Have a good night, Lotus.
Night.
But you have to be very specific with your wording. So if, for example, Cress says that if I will not stab you, then she won't stab you, but however, she can do other things. So you have to be very specific with Fae. It's very much that mentality of Fae deals. Which also leads into break no promises. If you promise something, that is something that you uphold. There is actually a moment in our campaign where our paladin, because it's a paladin, of course, they're going to be very uptight. He made us all promise something very specific, which was that, well, specifically Cress's wording was that she promised to do her best to keep a certain character secret from everyone else except for her party members. Hi, crazy. And so that's it, is that you have to make sure that your wording is very careful and that you never break a promise. Which leads into where Cress is from. So next slide. Also, Nick, you can just use arrow keys to flip it over.
Oh, fun. Cool.
Yeah, it helps because there is a specific thing on one of the slides that will start like playing music.
Ooh.
Exactly. Shadow, you also never give your full name, which is why Cress, her full name, which I should have put on an actual slide, but I didn't. Her full name is Crescent Moon, which is very ironic because she has a crescent moon on her forehead, which the Queen of Night and Magic has a sense of humor that I will get into. But so that's why she's only known as Cress, because she will never give her full name. And even still, if she calls herself Crescent, that is still never her full name. She has double edge protection to make sure that no one will actually capture her name. And she is from the Winter Court, which the Winter is very different. So you have different seasons, different things. It's pretty great. With Winter, it is the home of the Unseelie Court, a place of unique beauty that would otherwise be underappreciated in other realms. Covered in snow and ice, very few plants grow there outside of the most resilient. Emotionally, Winter is a realm of more than just coldness. It can also be about memories, preservation, endurance, contemplation, guidance, and serenity. It can also represent isolation, loneliness, night, deep magic, regret, and resentment. Winter Fae can be very distant and uncaring, or find humble joy in the simple things. Some like to spread their negative feelings or are completely apathetic to others. They are the most serious of fae, though the whimsy of snowfall isn't lost on them. Mm-hmm.
I
So
like
next slide.
that.
I have like a 10-second delay with this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the inspiration, which is what is half covered by Nick, the biggest part of the inspiration that I found was from Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, which I will talk about that book series to the ends of the earth. But there's that specific phrase that I have on screen that the water hears and understands, the ice does not forgive. And that very much to me is Cress, is that Cress will not always forgive you. She understands, she's very logical. She knows emotion, but she doesn't feel it. Or she feels, but she just doesn't show. And then uh besides she was the wraith, the only law that applied to her was gravity, and some days she defied that too, is also very much from a character that inspired Cress as well, otherwise known as the Wraith or Inej. And if you hit next slide.
Jude. Yes.
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 Cruel Prince, it was something that I adored when it came to reading. Like, I read the entire trilogy in a night. I will talk about it all day as well. The Cruel Prince and Jude and Cardan are my favorite. And it's Fae and specifically unseelie. And so that's what really got me so excited for the campaign was before we started, we saw I got to really see and experience how Seelie and Unseelie act, and the fact that Fae cannot lie, but they can be deceptive with their words. And also endure and survive, which is the phrase that is very much used in the HBO Last of Us adaptation. And so that to me was just like, it was just perfect. Like, Cress endures, she survives because you have to. You have to in winter. Shadow, I can also send you the names of the books
Screenshots of
too.
those books. Oh, that's sweet.
Uh-huh. And then if we show, we're going to be getting in to kind of the early days. So go ahead and click again.
Early
Actually, click
day.
twice.
Fun. She's so cute.
So that is an AI image that I found for Crest. And I wanted to specifically not have something that's AI because specifically one of the players in the game really doesn't like AI art. And it depends on your DM. But I found this photo and I was like, that has to be Cress. And so if you click, you'll actually see a sketch that my
Aw.
my one of the players did for Cress, and I gave her heterochromia, and she has her glowing moon on her symbol, and she has all her piercings, and yeah, she has hair jewelry, and that's
Very
Cress.
sick.
And then if you next slide, and then I think if you click twice, because I did it again because I like my transitions. This is a sketch that my friend did on the left hand side of Cress. Like, she's a talented, talented artist. And then the one on the right is a commission that I had for Cress. I found the artist on either TikTok or Instagram, and I had to get it. And that's Cress in a nutshell. Is just that is her facial expression. She's never a Mew shadow. She is always. It's very, very rare to see her in a happy mood. She's normally very neutral, or she's very just she doesn't express a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we go next,
I love this.
and then if you click twice, it actually does reveal her eye color.
Oh,
Ha
sick.
ha ha ha. So again, Cress has heterochromia. So I decided, and I actually have those exact hex codes, that those are her eye colors. As for her height, she's actually 5 foot because I'm 5 foot IRL, and I like making my characters as short as me because I put bits and pieces of my characters into, or I put bits and pieces of myself into my characters. And
Aw.
the art on the right is the most recent uh, commission that I got, and this artist XY, amazing. Find them on Twitter. Go look at their stuff. Like, the amount of detail that's in Cress is like with the armor and the jewelry, but this is my favorite. Thank you, gamer.
Very cute. Or a giant, yeah.
Um Yeah, no, but it's one of my favorite pieces because also it's just Cress actually able to relax and reset her life, and it's the one moment where she's happy and she's letting herself be at peace and let the good emotions show.
Aw.
Mhm. And then if you go on to the next one, Cress, as you can see, is very covered up. However, she has some really cool tattoos that I've taken inspiration from.
Sick.
Um, bottom right is on her spine, and she has the phases of the moon because, again,
Mm-hmm.
she is crescent moon. She's gonna have some really cool moon themed tattoos. And so she has some on her forearms. And then if you look at the top right with those two pictures,
Mm-hmm.
those are actually my tattoos.
That's right. They were really
Yep.
pretty when you sent pictures.
I I have those exact two tattoos on my body because of Cress. Also, the
Aw.
constellation is from a book that I adore, but it's pretty cool. Again, I love her. She is my favorite little bean, and I will continue to just adore her. B, you also have a similar tattoo?
That's so
Yes,
cool. Yes. Discord,
please.
Discord, Discord.
Yes.
We have
Oof.
to see the images. I love the arm ones. Those ones look insane.
Yeah, I think the arm ones are great. I wasn't sure. I think it's a combination of the two arm ones on her forearms, but I also have my dice on my forearms. So again, bits and pieces of myself to where like I get to have little snippets of myself in with Cress.
Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah. And then if you next one, we get to learn a little bit more about my girl who I
Aw.
adore. Um But yeah, she has a couple little favorites. I do this with all my characters. I have like a standard like this is the document that I use
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to D&D. And so Cress, she has a couple of little favorites, little personality things. Yeah, Shadow hot chocolate. Cress's favorite drink is hot chocolate with peppermint. She actually
Aw.
doesn't really partake in alcohol because to her that's a very Seelie thing to do. Seelie are very
Uh,
frivolous to her, and Unseelie and Winterfey are more reserved and calm. But that doesn't mean that she doesn't enjoy little things. Like her favorite snack is chocolate, and she will have a couple she actually still has a couple squares of hot chocolate in her pockets from home that she's been carrying around with her.
aw.
Um, the purple is her favorite color, which is the same color as one of her eyes. Nim, she is better than you.
Yes.
Her favorite animal is an Arctic fox
Mm-hmm.
because again winter, and her favorite flower are snowdrops because it's one of the few flowers that grow in the winter, and she just admires the strength and beauty that it has. Um, the bowl of soup is potato soup, or it's supposed to be, because she loves her mother's potato soup. It is her favorite meal, and if she can ever have something that reminds her of home, she will.
Aw.
And she has a sketchbook because she sketches like all the time. Every single party member knows this, and she has done drawings of them, and she's been keeping track of their adventures together with her sketchbook. So there's a photo of a squirrel that was extremely aggressive to Cress when she climbed up in a tree, and so there's a photo of that. Or just she has a lot of little things.
Okay, that's funny.
Hmm. It's great. And then yeah, next one.
Ooh.
When I tell you I go hard with my D&D characters, I
Yeah.
go hard. I know what her Myers-Briggs is. I know what her Enneagram is. So we'll go into Myers-Briggs first because it's also a little hyperfixation. It's not playing. It's not copyrighted,
It's not
Shadow.
playing, it's not copyrighted. Shush.
Exactly.
Don't put it out
Don't,
there.
don't click it. Shadow's just salty. Oh no, wait, it's Nem that's salty
Them
about Crest
salty.
being better than him.
Yeah. Tragic.
But so with ISTJ, it means that she's introverted, which means that she gets her energy from being alone rather than being with people. Um, She's S, which is observant, which means she takes her information in through the five senses. She doesn't really like the patterns and possibilities. She likes what's concrete. She likes what's fact. She likes what's in front of her. She is thinking, which is the T, which means that she makes decisions based off of logic, and she does not base any emotion, or she does not base any thoughts or feelings, or she does not make decisions based on emotions, because that's a very Seelie thing to do. It's a very Seelie thing. It's not unseelie. And then judging means that she likes to have control and have plans. So if she is going to go in, she's going to go out, she is going to have a plan, know exactly what to do, and have a backup plan just in case that goes wrong, which has been very hard for her because she has been traveling with a lot of Seelie, and the paladin just likes to go run into everything and never stops and thinks about what could happen, which is such a shame. And then we have Enneagram, which everyone has. Now, see here, gamer, here's the thing, is that Cress is very much my opposite as well, is that I am an INFJ. So it's very hard for me to play a character that is so logic based and not emotion based, because I play my characters usually with emotion. So this is very hard for me to do, but I'd say I do a pretty good job. But Enneagrams are with numbers instead of letters, and there's 9 different personality types. So with Cress, she is a 5 wing 6, which shows her basic desire is to be competent and useful, which means, picking up new skills, pieces of knowledge that can be beneficial. And her basic fear is to be useless or incapable. Some strengths of 5 wing 6s is they are focused and well organized. They have a passion for learning and growing. They like solving difficult or complex problems, and they remain calm in times of crisis. Weaknesses are struggling to relate and understand others. They have a tendency to be very private and defensive. They are typically perceived as cold or aloof, and it's hard to take action when you're uninspired. Cool. And if we go to the next slide, you guys get to see pretty much this is her aesthetic. I had to do this. What's underneath Nyx is Astra inclant sed non obligant, which is Latin for the stars incline us, they do not bind us. Cress is my cold winter baby. She is my celestial base character. I feel like with D&D, we kind of all need to have like a celestial based kind of, it's the aesthetics for me.
Oh yeah.
And I just have a couple like fun facts about her. She actually hates her heterochromia. And the reason she does is because her father apparently had blue eyes like she did, and she would rather not have any connections to the man who left her and her mother. So she really dislikes her blue eyes. She's ooh, goodness, words. She's constantly sketching in her spare time and carries a sketchbook with her, which helps pass time when she's watching her latest target. She adores. Hi, Dust.
Dustball Bandit. That's cool.
Another one of my friends IRL. So hi.
Yes. More of Jen's friends. Come watch her.
Yeah. She adores the Borealis, which is what we have named the Northern Lights, or the Aurora Borealis, because we can't really say the Northern Lights, but we can say the lights. So, and she actually has painted the Borealis on her bedroom ceiling. She also has never experienced any romantic love. We're going to get a little deep and personal with Cress here, and she believes that she is broken and incapable of love. But no, it's okay. It gets better because she's going to eventually come to the conclusion that she's just demisexual, and she really needs that very strong connection with someone. Crazy. I don't want to hear this logic right now. We said the Borealis. It's the Borealis.
Hush. We're not talking about how the magnetism affects things or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, exactly. It's the Feywild, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Genuinely want my
lights are happening because I say lights are happening.
Exactly. But no, Cress is just Demi. She just doesn't really understand. When she's had a really hard day, she will just go sneak out and watch the borealis. Is that is her favorite thing to do. She'll get away from the city, just
Aw.
take a breather, and just watch the northern light or the borealis. And also, there are always pine needles and chocolate in her pockets at all times. She always has some pine needles and chocolate.
That's
Uh,
cute.
yeah. Next
Get it,
slide's kind
crazy.
of simple.
Magic.
Is her magic. So again, Cress, little baby girl, is very obsessed with the northern lights, and that very much reflects in her magic. She is a soul knife rogue,
Oh, I
and
was about to
so
ask what her like class was.
oh, I'm gonna get into that. I'm gonna get into that. But yeah, so she is a soul knife rogue. So she has these psychic blades that appear that she fights with, and she can either throw them or she can hold them in her hand and stab someone with the psychic energy. And her magic, whenever she's casting her knives, they look like the northern lights. Kind of cool, kind of
Very
crazy.
sick.
It's pretty cool. And then next slide.
Growing up.
I'm just going to talk about her genuinely just info dump from what I've written about
Do it.
her
Do
as
it. Do
I
it.
can. Um, all Cress remembered from her childhood was to fight, survive, endure. Things were sparse, even with just 2 mouths to feed, and her mother did what she could while Cress was young. As soon as Cress was able to, she was out there, working hard to provide for her little family. It didn't matter that they had little because they loved each other. It didn't matter that they were looked down upon because they were lower than others. It didn't matter that they had to scrape and fight in order to survive and endure the harsh life they were thrust into. Cress was used to the world being harsh and beautiful. Home is where the people you love are, and Cress had her mother. She knew that she had to adapt and survive the harsh by becoming harsh herself. There were a few moments, though, that Cress was able to steal away for herself and let herself soften ever so slightly. Moments where she could sit and watch the world around her. Moments when she let the snow dust her eyelashes and feel a bit of calm. Moments where she was alone in the woods and could let herself breathe, creating clouds in the air in front of her. Things changed, though, once Cress saw the queen. Now that was someone to behold. How beautiful and harsh the queen was. She remembers catching a glimpse of the queen, the details somewhat fuzzy in memory as to why the queen was there, but the queen. She was clear and crisp. She was harsh and beautiful and everything that Cress was not. And Cress knew that she wanted to be there. She wanted to be someone to the queen. She had to be. So, in the little spare time that Cress had, she trained day after day, year after year, teaching herself something new with the few skills she possessed, taking the magic she had within her, twisting it into knives and controlling them with just a thought, sneaking through the woods and the tree branches, ensuring there was no trace of her in the snow, picking every lock she could get her hands on, knowing exactly how the pins and tumblers would respond with a flick of her wrist. She learned to be the best that she could, despite of how small of a village she lived in. She had to become the best. She had to endure and survive for so long that it was all she knew. She could not falter, could not crack, had to push to be the best. Push and push and push to be stronger and better. Push to endure and survive. And if we head to the next slide, the pact. I'll tell you when to click in a moment.
Alright.
Cress knew what she was doing, right? Right. It wasn't difficult, right? Just sneaking into the palace of the Queen of Night and Magic. Easy. She just had to remember why she was doing this again. To prove herself. To prove that she was the best, that she had endured and survived so much to become the best. She just had to prove it now. She was confident in herself and her skills. She just had to prove it now. Getting in and out of the palace, that was the goal. No one was to see her. She managed to get in without a hitch. Docking the halls of this impressive building was something new. Cress wasn't used to this opulence and took a few moments to study the building and the architecture, in between avoiding the guards that roamed the halls. Slowly, night after night, Cress managed to map the palace, learning the halls and corridors, studying the patterns of her guards. Her confidence grew and she continued to push herself. Now sneaking into the queen's wing. That was her next challenge. That was where Cress managed to lose her direction for a split second. Damn. It hadn't happened to her before. Either way, there was only one way to go. Endure and survive and push through. There had to be something down one of the many hallways and behind one of the many doors. Choose one, choose something, be confident, endure and survive. Cress tries the door. Locked, of course. That wouldn't be a problem for Cress. She does her lucky trick, something that she does before opening any door, and it clicks open with ease. Confidence is the key there. It wasn't until Cress closes the door behind her that she registers the presence in the room with her. Do you want to click, Nick? Slowly, carefully, Cress turns around and meets her eyes. The queen. Shit. Cress had been a little too confident and picked the lock of the queen's private chambers. She starts to reach for the door again when her voice rings out, asking Cress who she is. She drops to her knees, not making any more eye contact with the ruler who she had devoted so much of her life to. She hears her voice answer, naming her as Cress Sharp. Smart girl, not giving her full name to the queen. Her mother had taught her that much at least. She hears the queen rise, slowly making her way over to Cress. Cress feels the queen's hand on the top of her head, her fingers slowly making their way down to her chin, lifting her face so their eyes lock again. The queen studies her for a moment, another moment. She can feel her heart pounding in her chest. This is it. She has endured and survived so much just to be struck down in front of the queen. To be struck down by the queen. Cress hears the queen ask if this is the first time she has been in the palace, and she answers honestly that is not the first time for her. The queen shows no emotion when she asks Cress how someone like her was able to get past the guards and security. She answers honestly again that she taught herself to be undetected. She searches the queen's eyes before asking something confident, asking the queen how long it will be until she dies. She knows the trouble she is in right now and knows death is imminent. The queen continues to show no emotion, stands there thinking, staring at her, and she continues to meet her gaze, taking in the beauty that was before her, how close she was to the queen, to be this close, to have the queen's own hand on her face. It's the queen. It's her queen. The queen's voice breaks the silence, telling her that there is more use for her, alive than dead. She takes that in, that she will not die but live instead. There has to be a catch to this, right? There always is. This is an archfey and nothing is free, not even Cress's life right now. As if the queen can sense this, the queen says that she wants her to work for her, using the talent she has owned. In return, the queen will give Cress power and anything else that she might ask for. There will be a place for Cress to live, a place in the queen's inner circle, and in return, she simply has to pledge her devotion to the queen. That's easy. It's the queen. It's her queen. Easy. Done. Cress will do that in a heartbeat, and she does. She asks that her mother be taken care of as well, brought to Cress's place of residence, ensuring that her mother will not have to endure and survive ever again, and it is done. A pact is made, a gloaming brought into existence. It's eerie how similar this creature looks to Cress. The gloaming will be taken care of and will remind Cress that the pact has been made. Cress cannot forget it. She did it. She endured and survived, and she was someone to the queen. She had risen above what everyone else had said to her. She has endured. She has survived. She will serve the queen with her heart, what little of a heart there is, with what guarded heart there is. She will not hesitate. She will endure and survive in a new setting, with new power and new marks to show how Cress has been saved, how she has been chosen.
That's so cool. I loved it. I got goosebumps.
I'm so happy. Yeah, so Cress, the reason that she has a glowing moon on her forehead and the reason she has glowing marks on her hands is because that is the physical manifestation of the warlock pact that she has with the Queen of Night and Magic.
I love it.
So that is the Queen of Night and Magic and all of her beauty, all of her glory. He. So she has a pact. And then if we just click a bit,
Ah.
I am the player who creates playlists based off her D&D characters, and so if you click a few more
Lindsay
times,
Starling, course.
yeah, you have to. I have to
Snow
have
Angel,
some.
pretty good.
All the things she said is about the Queen of Night and Magic. Snow
Very cool.
Angel is Cress at her most vulnerable.
Mhm.
August D by August D is some of a challenge to me. I think if you click 3 more times, there's 3 more songs, Nick.
Yes.
August D is
Casualty.
yeah. Soapy Water, another soft song, Watch Me, Casualty, all fantastic songs. I will drop the link to the playlist in the Discord if y'all want.
Please do. I
It
want to check
tells
some of these out.
Yeah, no, there's some good songs on there, but I also specifically gave myself a challenge when I made this playlist
Mm-hmm.
because I specifically said that there's a couple different artists that I wanted on there. I wanted a K-pop song, which is August D. I specifically wanted a song from Amelie because my DM very much loves Amelie and her covers, and so there is an
Aw.
Amelie song on there. I specifically wanted a Nightcore song, so I have
Interesting.
a Nightcore song on there. I also have a song from one of the Barbie movies on there because I thought it was fucking
Which
hilarious.
one? Which one? Which one was it?
On Top of the World from Princess Charm School because it to me that is the training montage
That's
of
so
Cress
funny.
like honing her magic. It's great. I
That's
love it.
adorable.
And yeah, so all the songs on there really tell a story, and the last few songs are her at her like somewhat most vulnerable, showing that, you know, despite the fact that there is so much of a hard exterior to her, there is a heart underneath.
That's so sick. I
Yeah,
love it.
and then couple more slides. Next
Click
is
clacks.
Click Clacks. I have so these are my specific dice that I use for Crest. The
Pretty.
ones on the left and the right are
Mm-hmm.
from Dispel, and the middle ones are my commission dice that I got specifically for Crest. I will talk
So
about
pretty.
cult dice all day long, but those are my commission dice. Um,
They look so gorgeous.
they're beautiful. Like she made little galaxies in these dice, and
Yeah.
occult dice is fantastic, and I love them to death.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, and then the next one,
Is this the
yes,
fake
only handle with
ones?
this is this is spring. So this is
Realm of
specifically the realm
Eternal
of spring.
Spring.
My DM made this.
This is
Like
insane. It's really
my
cool.
DM is amazing and talented, and I will sing her praises all day long. And if you
Yeah.
click again, there's a little blue circle that's going to pop up. That is
Oh, where
actually
are
where
you?
we are right now. So
Blizzlety? Ah, Grizzleton.
Grizzleton.
That's where it is.
We're
I
in
was trying to
Grizzleton
see.
right now. Currently, our quest that we're doing is we are going to go fight a hag who brought a teddy bear to life, and the magic that is keeping this teddy bear alive is dying. So we have to
Oof.
go and save Teddy. Um,
Aww.
yeah, and then we also fought Goldilocks and her gang last session, and that was rough.
That's sick. I'm trying to
And then
feel. That's so
the
cool.
last slide is just a whole bunch of memes that we have because we are amazing and we make
You're
memes.
the mean bisexual, which I think is
I
funny.
Press is the meme bisexual. The she theys are Fizz, who is our fairy artificer.
Yes.
The he theys are our fire genasi barbarian.
Which one's the paladin that you were bitching about? Is it the token straight that's on thin ice?
Yes, except he's bi,
Yes.
but we had to fit him somewhere in there.
It does. Sexuality
It's
is one thing, but there's
it's a
just an
spectrum.
energy of someone that sometimes just doesn't match up. I think that
Yes,
someone who's bi could have the energy of a token straight that's on thin ice.
yeah, exactly. Cress is the mean bisexual, though. Our DM is the astrology bits, who has everyone's star charts memorized. And Avitus is our short king. The
Ah,
gloaming is our short king. Not Cress's gloaming, mind you. There are other gloamings because it's a whole homebrew race that my DM has created for
that's
this.
insane.
But if you click once,
All right,
we mock.
show me the real avatars. 5'7". I said the real avatars. 5'5".
5 foot
5 foot. 4 foot. Perfection.
perfection. No, it gets better because if you click again,
Oh my god. It
we
is a
bully.
short king.
We bully. It gets
Okay.
even better. No, there's
Magnus
one more.
is 5'10". Eros, I'm assuming, is the paladin, and he's 6 foot. You're 5'5", and Fizz is just tiny.
Fizz is a fairy. But then, and then if you do that,
and there's a thank you. That's adorable.
We lovingly, we bully the player who plays our gloaming wizard constantly, and he is Short King, and he gets so mad about it.
Oh.
But that's Cress.
That's
if
adorable.
you guys have, genuinely, if you guys have any other questions or just want to hear more about this character, I will continue to info dump. I did not touch on anything that has happened in the campaign.
Oh yeah,
but
I was gonna ask
might
some
as
questions.
well.
It would be fun.
Oh yeah, go for it.
I have to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
Chat. If anyone wants to ask Jen a question, ask it. Jen, if there's anything you want to info dump about, do that. I'm gonna be gone for 5 seconds. You're in charge.
Gods. Let's see. Oh, why am I in charge? Jeez. I shouldn't be in charge. Dad, come back. I need an adult. It is private. We very much respect our players' privacies. So Skelly, I'm not an adult. I'm not an adulty adult. Cress's favorite war crime? Cress doesn't really have a favorite war crime. What she does is literally her job isn't actually killing people. She sneaks in and out of houses and steals secrets, and then snitches on people to the Queen of Night and Magic, so the Queen of Night and Magic can maintain her power.
Hello, I am back as requested, just delayed.
I was like, I really need an adultier adult, my guy.
I'm back. Crazy?
Yeah.
Or gamer? Who's in?
Gamer.
I said, yeah, no, because Crazy's like, I'm 27, I am an adult, and Skelly also agrees, and I'm like, I'm not. Look, Cress doesn't need to have a favorite war crime. She's killed people, but like, she only recently started killing people with the party. But yes, overshare to explain, yes, Cress is a rogue lock. So she is 5 levels in rogue, because I needed uncanny dodge. And then she has 1 level in warlock. And I forgot to say this part. Whenever Cress uses her warlock magic, it is night sky themed. So there is a very visible, distinct difference between Cress's own magic and the magic and power that has been given to her from her queen.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Again, she is my favorite little baby. I will love her.
So what I gotta bring up is all of the winter vibes made me immediately think of Beakoline, the giant LARP near me. They have actually a winter session.
Yes, Shadow. She is espionage.
They don't have anything announced for this winter yet. They have stuff out till November. But by November in Quebec, you very much could have snow. And so Beakoline is the only LARP in North America with permanent structures. So there are buildings with there are buildings with like fireplaces and everything. And so my immediate thought.
Yeah, Nick Sharon's stream.
Look how cool this looks. I really wanna go to a LARP at one point. I've only been to Ren fairs before, but LARPs look so cool.
That is about a 9-hour drive from my house. I can realistically drive there. Those are, and all those buildings, permanent structures. There are taverns with actual fireplaces and everything in them. So the LARP events are mostly only 1-day things in the winter. The grand battle was at the beginning of the month, which is thousands of people show up, and there's a gigantic medieval battle.
There it is, the grand battle.
Ooh.
Yeah.
27th edition of it.
Yep. It is one of the longest running LARPs in North America.
Amazing. What state does this take place in, or province?
This is Quebec.
Oh, hell yeah.
So a lot of the stuff is in French.
Like, look how cool that looks, right?
They're amazing.
Oh, this is insane.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is not far from my house. Like, I just have to drive past. Basically, you can fly to either Quebec City or Montreal.
The Providence. the province of no fun? Shadow.
It is the province of a lot of no fun because they're all really, really French, but not
Well, yeah,
France French.
This
Dude,
is
French Canadians.
cool. Regional
My
blacks.
cousin married a French
All this
Canadian,
stuff.
and he just like, oddly enough, I don't know why he looked down on us, but he did, and I was just like, come on, man. What the Americans? I don't want to say what the Americans have done, but like, you know.
The Americans, one time after Canada burned down the White House,
Oh yeah, the War
the
of
American
1812.
militia.
Yeah, we got pissed.
Well, the American militia chased them back in, and then they locked them inside the walled city part of Quebec City, and then just let them march in circles until they froze in a blizzard.
Well, yeah, I'm also gonna say
You burned down our house.
Yeah, well, the Geneva Convention mostly exists largely due to Canada.
Oh,
that's true. I always hear that. I don't know what the fuck y'all have done, but it's hidden from like.
Okay, I'll tell you what it was. Okay, Canada would keep not taking prisoners, and it got to the point where British command was in charge of Canada.
Yeah.
And would tell them, okay, we want you to take 300 prisoners, and Canada would bring back exactly 300 prisoners. So you got to imagine they got guy number 301 and went, sorry, buddy, we met quota.
We met quota. Oh my god.
that is essentially yeah. The other one was they got into a point where in trench warfare they were throwing cans of food back and forth with the Germans, and then the Canadians started putting live grenades in the cans and throwing those over to the Germans. So
I heard that. Yes.
Cress's character playlist is in the character creation channel for those who would like to listen.
Ah, fantastic. All right, I think it's my turn now. Shit.
Yeah, it is.
All right. I know that I did this presentation a while ago, but I thought it'd be fun to do it again because it's like my big one is the evolution of D&D. But I don't know how many people were around for that. Does anyone else remember when I did that?
I remember.
I do.
So fun.
I remember that one. That because that used to be what you would do on Sundays. I
have like my whole Honey Heist one still here too, but I don't know if I want to do that because I mean I could do the Honey Heist presentation. Since
Crazy, it was before your time.
I would say do the Honey Heist one like the Sunday before.
I'll do that.
We do the new one shot.
So everyone can have a reminder about how the mechanics work. That's a good idea.
Yeah, like do it really close to it so it's a nice refresher.
I'll do it. Yeah, that'll be good because that way when the stream actually happens, no one's confused about the mechanics that we're using for it, and so less people will be asking questions. All right.
I think I'm playing it. I'm still going to be confused.
I'm pretty sure you are. Well, this is going to be a good refresher for everyone. All right.
I screenshotted the bits or the channel points the morning after the subathon, and it is me, Jen, and Tiny.
Again, love it.
Again, no, I'm so sorry, guys.
And then Mega, Nem, and Crazy.
Yep.
Hey,
hell yeah!
I had to defend the throne. All right.
Oh yeah, we'll schedule shit.
Yeah, I was planning on trying to schedule it after I got a waitressing job, and I need to figure out when they want me. But yeah. All right, so I'm gonna go present. Let's do this. Okay, so for those of you who are not aware or have followed me recently, I did a thesis on D&D for my media studies class. I was the president of the Board Games Club. I like to constantly brag about it because it feels like a brag. And I enjoy it as I cannot picture you as a waitress. Well, the restaurant who hired me pictures me as a waitress, and if anything, it's good for tips so that I can continue to do this, which I love. But this is going to be essentially like a timeline of Dungeons and Dragons from its almost extinction to the kind of newfound renaissance it's got going now, and we'll talk about some of those topical things. Questions can be at the very end of the presentation, but if I think that your thing is funny enough, I will say it on stream. So, challenge. So, this is basically going to talk about D&D as a TTRPG game, the gameplay, what it's like, and how niche the community is, but how big of its significance is on social media. Those of you who follow me probably already know D&D because that's my whole fucking thing, but for those of you who don't, you'll learn now. Anyway, so we'll do it with the timeline. So my favorite thing about this timeline is the Summer of Love and Serial Killers, the Satanic Panic, and the Form of BADD. I am looking for t-shirts and buttons that are the original, I think it's like Adults Against Dungeons and Dragons stuff. It's so funny. But basically, at the very beginning the very beginning of the 70s, a lot of serial killers were happening. A lot of everyone's favorites. Ted Bundy, the Manson killers, a whole sort of thing. So everyone was kind of on edge about murders, exactly. And there was this whole thing that kind of got sprung up that was this basically a fan theory that Satanists were taking over America and that some of these murders were because of them, because some of the serial killers did dabble in like religious iconography. But it wasn't really, spoiler alert. Anyway, the big thing that really like kind of like threw gasoline on the fire that was the Satanic Panic, was this whole book that was written about it. So basically what happened is that James Dallas Egbert wrote a very interesting book. No, it was Michelle Remembers. Michael Smith. This has been such a long time that I fucking forgot how this works. Anyway, Michael Smith wrote a book about a woman who was effectively possessed. Said he was possessed, not really sure. Anyway, the book kicks off like people looking more into Satanism and thinking that it's a crazy thing and it's happening everywhere. It's not really. Anyway, also that exact same time, D&D is just starting. And one of the things that D&D did in their original books for their villains and stuff like that, specifically for their demons, was have the real names of demons. So if you cracked open a really old D&D book, you could find the names of demons in incredible detail and what they represented. But also, and this was because Gary Gygax wanted, to provide you with as much information as possible about these demons, the way to summon them. And so, combined with the fact that people were already on edge, it wasn't really great. Now, what also happened at this exact same time was that a poor boy who was in college, who did not have good mental health, basically had what we would call, basically had a huge anxiety attack that lasted for almost 24 hours because during that attack, he ran out of his college dorm, crawled into a drain pipe, and then just like couldn't leave because he was so freaked out. And sadly, he passed away. Now, this kid, besides the fact that he had undiagnosed anxiety issues, also played D&D and had the book in his dorm room. And what happened was that the police came in, saw the book, had the simultaneous thing of Satanism and D&D, and thought, oh, so the Satanist D&D book killed the boy. Unalive the boy. And his mother took that, and in a huge moment of grief that she decided to sue Dungeons and Dragons because of the fact that she claimed that it led to her son's death. And when that didn't work because the judge said no, it eventually started a huge campaign against it. It was called what was it? It was Religious Adults Against Dungeons and Dragons or something like that. It was called BAD or whatever, but it was wild. I guess the movement, I don't think it's still going on, but it went on for a bit, and it largely led to why D&D in their earlier stuff was kind of shown in a freaky way. So during the early 1980s and 1990s, D&D was kind of lightly featured in things like E.T. the Extraterrestrial and TV shows like Freaks and Geeks. There was also the book Mazes and Monsters that got a movie adaptation. Tom Hanks plays the main guy. Effectively, in this book, what happens is that these kids pick up a D&D book while they're in college, and Tom Hanks gets so into it that he starts to think that it's real, and he goes around, I'm pretty sure he either goes around killing people, or he's about to jump off a building because he thinks that's what his character would do. And, D&D wasn't really portrayed in, like, the best light, especially the people who played it. There was a huge stigma against it. I mean, Stranger Things kind of really points that out, but the Mazes and Monsters is like the best representation of what people thought D&D did to you. Beyond the actual like physical copy of the thing, those who did play the game really liked it, but they couldn't really do much with it. So D&D didn't feature heavily within popular media for a while, although it did really affect a bunch of video games back in the early days, because I mean, it's perfect for a video game developer. If you have a set of code that you want to do and you have a game that has a set of rules, then you can easily kind of put them together. Some of the really early video games that they made with that were Baldur's Gate and Neverwinter Nights. Baldur's Gate, of course, 3 is now insanely popular, but the first one came out like way back in the day. And it was really an interesting way for nerds to show their appreciation for the kind of genre of TTRPG games before they became popular. And then, of course, there was the rise of D&D podcasts and live shows, which I think is really fun. So the surge of D&D podcasts, at least now in the 20th century, because the 90s, it was still kind of fucked. No! Okay, I put the Adventure Zone on there because I'm an Adventure Zone's whore. But there was a recent surge of D&D podcasts in the early 2000s. 2016 to 2020 specifically is largely linked to the rise of things like Critical Role, the Adventure Zone, Acquisitions Incorporated, and of course D20. It is also, people tie it to the fact that, of course, quarantine happened, and we were all stuck in our homes for 4 years without able to do anything. And it really pushed forward the idea that D&D did not only have to be a live play moment, it could be an online one. And in fact, people who couldn't play online or couldn't find a group to play with just flat out at all could find some way of following D&D in the show kind of content. And it really like brought the community together as a whole, especially with sites like Roll20, Start Playing, and all sorts of other online shows. Critical Role specifically, out of all of these D&D podcasts, had the largest impact on the D&D community because of the fact that it became one of the first live play shows to have such a huge appeal. It has its own Amazon Prime show. It's become ridiculously popular, and for good reason. But it also really showcased off the fact that D&D can become a financially viable thing. Playing it can. Same way that in the same way that video games can. It had the benefit of a diverse voice cast and inclusive storytelling as well, to really also show the fact that D&D doesn't need to be played in one specific way. Homebrew was just push the forefront of what you can do, and it really reshaped how D&D was portrayed in media. I like to call it as like the big thing that really like turned the switch off of everyone thinking that D&D wasn't just for nerd loser people, and it became something that quite popular Hollywood actors and actresses actually played, which I thought was interesting. And of course, there's D&D in the digital age. These are two images from D20, which has now become essentially a serialized show. D20, I like to think of as something that is beyond Critical Role, because Critical Role is a D&D campaign played very, very like to the T. There's really no shortcuts to it. It takes almost as long as a real D&D campaign would take. The shows are usually like 6 to 4 hours, 3 hours long on podcast, 4 to 6 hours long if you're like watching 2 episodes back to back. It's lengthy. However, Dimension 20 decided to take the concept of D&D and put it into a show serialized form, which is how you get things like, of course, A Court Fay Flowers, which is in one of the memes that I picked here, and the more recent Fantasy High series that has put D20 on the map after being posted on YouTube, and now just has people coming in droves to their new streaming. Now for the controversies, because this is the fun bit. So, criticisms abound, but here are some very serious things that they actually had issues with. D&D's portrayal of race, gender, and a lot of cultural stereotypes was a huge issue. Women in the early D&D books, it is almost comical when you go back and look at some of the stuff. There is a podcast called, it's a Goblins and Gals or something, and they like very specifically early in their podcasting career dug into some of that stuff, and it was really interesting. Hi, Tiny. There's also the different kinds of, there's been heavy ties that people have made, although I don't know if they are are they substantiated or unsubstantiated, to there was a reskinning of the orcs in, it was either this recent edition of 5e or like a random off one, and people didn't like the fact that they just basically turned orcs into like a human that's green, and that's it. It was given no flavoring. D&D has, like, in some way, you missed me in gamer monologuing. You did. You missed Gamer's entire Disney talk. D&D has attempted to promote diversity from within the game by making it so that women, cultural stereotypes, racism is less. There's an entire character class that basically is a type of bird that I believe, and don't quote me on this, but they desire to be enslaved to someone, and that was not well received for some obvious reasons. And D&D has come out and said, we're very sorry for these things, we will fix them, we'll make it better. Although it's kind of debatable, honestly, about how well they react to the community. Case in point, the OGL agreement, which was, oh boy, was this received horribly. For those of you who don't know what the OGL agreement was, it was effectively that D&D allowed anyone to make D&D related content and sell it as their own, which created Critical Role, which was a show that was making money off the fact that they were playing D&D, and they didn't have to pay Wizards of the Coast for the right to play it. There's also a bunch of homebrew books like Kobold Press and various other books that made a good amount of money on making extra D&D content. Yeah, fuck Wizards of the Coast. Like I currently have the Media Lab books on my desk right now, like Game Master's Guide to Random Tables or Traps, Puzzles, and Dungeons. And what happened is that right at the beginning of the Hasbro takeover, when they were just getting a D&D movie, D&D Honor Amongst Thieves, they were really pushing for it. And Hasbro, I think it was an email that got leaked that said that they were planning on closing the open game license, which is what OGL stands for. Now, closing the open game license would mean the ruin of several businesses that are all surrounding this entire media area. And with the news breaking that Hasbro was seriously considering this, and in fact were like in meetings like as people were talking about it, shows like D20 and Critical Role, who also had based their entire, how they make money off of D&D, started to really question things and pivot away from just the system as a whole. It's also, I think, why D&D has been doing so well at this moment, and why they have released their new, like, 5.5e whatever edition books, which I've got fucking problems with. Beyond the point. The OGL was a shit show. Everyone hated it. Everyone immediately said, all right, you want to close the game agreement, we will leave. And I don't think Wizards of the Coast took them seriously, or at least Hasbro didn't. I think Wizards of the Coast knew that they were who they were fucking with and were deeply scared. Hasbro didn't know what was happening. Everyone immediately pivoted and started talking about all the different games that they can play, and then they recanted that they were going to close the OGL agreement. But still, people were scared off and now want to play other games, so it was just a shit show in general. On top of the fucking OGL agreement, there was the AI scandal, which we will now further get into. So, Glory of Giants was a new module that Wizards of the Coast was promoting at this point. It was right after the OGL agreement was happening. So, they weren't really pushing it out a lot because everyone was freaked out about the OGL agreement. But once that got settled, fully onto this. Now, AI is fucking with everyone at this moment. Mainly because of the fact that it's becoming like a huge thing and everyone's using it. Everyone is accusing everyone else of using it. Everyone's trying to figure out how to catch people who are using AI. It was a mess. Trying to mess with the most pirateable game ever, lol. Yeah, it's a fucked up weird thing. But at this point, D&D and artists have like a very close relationship. D&D as a whole have asked for, I miss fast. D&D as a whole, they commission artists who are within their own community to create the art for their books. It is a huge thing that they do this because artists are, of course, not very paid well. So the fact that there is a large company who is doing this for their books is a huge deal. Now, there was someone who was commissioned to do the art for Glory of Giants. They used AI for their artwork. And as the promotional images of the Glory of Giants started to come out, people were all pointing to the fact that, hey, there's a hand here that isn't drawn correctly, or something's a little bit off about the way that this body is structured. It's not quite fitting along to like actual musculature. And then eventually the artist comes out and says, yes, I did use AI for some of this. And it is a huge deal. Not because someone who's an artist used AI, but because of the fact that D&D was already on thin ice and now has to deal with the fact that they are known for supporting real artists and doing their best to further their community. And it was just another slight on their community that was already pissed. So it was a fucked up mess. But they survived. As for the future of D&D in media, TV shows, if I previously talked about, Dungeons & Dragons Honor Amongst Thieves was pretty good. I loved it. I thought it was read well. It kind of threaded the line between people who actually know how to play D&D and people who don't. It did well in the box office-ish. I don't know if we're getting a sequel, but fingers crossed. There's also the 2 Critical Role shows that are out. There is the Vox Machina on Prime Television, as well as they just released a new trailer for the second season, second campaign of Critical Role that is just like barely getting animated. As well as the fact that I like to count Dimension 20 amongst these in these shows, specifically because of the fact that the platform dropout, I think largely their entire streaming network is kind of centered around D&D. It is a consistent moneymaker. People got onto the site mainly because they wanted to see how Fantasy High was continuing in all the other D&D games. So I think of it as largely being propped up by a D&D show. And Dimension 20 is a D&D show. It was mostly a good movie. Hated how they nerfed bards, though. Yeah, I didn't really agree with how they handled magic, but that's a whole other fucking thing. As a whole, though, interest in D&D has never been at a higher peak. There's only up for the team to go from here. It's just a question of Wizards of the Coast can handle it. So, for our conclusion, we really just went over, like, the many, like, pros and cons of D&D. Really, all it boils down to is a misunderstanding of the media, and that has plagued D&D, Wizards of the Coast as a whole throughout the game's inception to current. At its inception, everyone thought that it was a Satanist game, doing a whole thing here. Hasbro has been mishandling it currently with how it's dealing with the community and how it thinks that people want to play the game. All in all, that is it. Someone I think needs to be competent and get in charge. But yeah, that's it. These are my sources. Some of these are actually really cool. The Oxford History of Board Games, incredibly interesting. Some of the Wizards of the Coast addressing racist stereotypes in Dungeons & Dragons is a fascinating read. Polygon is great. The game license controversy explained was wild. And then Vice did an entire article about how D&D went mainstream. That was great. Questions! That's it. Now, if this was a stream about how I wanted to rant about how Wizards of the Coast has failed as a company, it would be a lot longer, but something that I will die on and that I will leave you all as a discussion question before I inevitably get some questions asked of me is the fact that I think that the one way that D&D can continue to make money in a way that Hasbro wants is by releasing special editions of older books at a higher quality and a higher price. I think they are severely discounting the fact that there are nerds who will buy production-level recreations of Star Wars props, and they think that the same level of, like, money and amount of care that those nerds have for Star Wars won't carry over to Wizards of the Coast. It's great. I just think that they need to do re-releases of their old stuff. They don't need to keep changing the formula. It's fine. They've just gotten too greedy. If they made a really nice version of the Vecna Eve of Ruin book. If they just made, like, a nice leather-bound version of half of these fucking D&D modules, they would do fine. Hell, if anything, start making their own dice, but, like, at a higher quality. Like, there's so much that they could do that is better. Alright, I'm gonna read the things now. What are your couple top TTRPGs besides D&D? I like Kids on Bikes. I find it fascinating. I think that Call of Cthulhu is great, too. Perils and Princesses I like. I themed my birthday around them. Let's go with top 5, because I fucking hate my life. Oh, God. There was the Area... It was the Area 51 one. Greensville, or I have a list of this, but basically it's themed after, like, the X-Files or something. It's a TTRPG. You should look it up. It's really cool if you want to fuck around with aliens. That's my 4th. And then... What's my last one? You know what? I actually kind of dig Pathfinder. That's all. The rise of D&D recently has piqued my interest. I used to be completely against it, and now I want to dive deeper into it. Hence, found your TikTok and Twitch channel, Small World. That's so cool. Yeah, yeah. I love the fact that originally D&D was put on the Satanist list because of the fact that Gary Gygax just really wanted to be as accurate as possible. So he fully thought out. He either thought out and wrote down or researched demon summoning rituals because he thought there's no way that these DMs in their mom's basements are going to have any idea how the players can summon Bahamut or whatever the hell. Yeah. Instead of them wanting to profit off others' work. Yeah, yeah. Call of Cthulhu is fun. I've always wanted to play. It's really entertaining. Call of Cthulhu is great. There's actually a game about it that I want to play. I also wanted to try and go back and play some of the older, like Neverwinter Nights is a video game that's based off of D&D. Seems cool. I want to go back and play some of the Baldur's Gate 3 ones that came before Baldur's Gate 3. Dragon Age is another great, like, there's a Pathfinder video game too. There's a bunch of D&D video games that I really want to check out. It's good for fucking aliens. It's about aliens. It's about aliens and like government cover-ups, and it's really cool. It has a very interesting way of dealing with stats. Brindlewood Bay is another one that's funny. In that one, you play as a group of grandmas who, hold on, I'll find it. In that one, you play as a group of grandmas who are fighting eldritch horrors. Brindlewood. Yeah, here it is. 1 second. See, Brindlewood Bay. It's really cool. I like this one a lot. Ooh, can we play that? I'm planning on adding it to the list. I wanted to add it a while ago, but this is the basic premise is that Brindlewood Bay is a TTRPG game that combines Murder, She Wrote with H.P. Lovecraft. Love it. If you are a fan of Call of Cthulhu, you will like this. In it, you play a group of elderly women, members of the local Murder Mavens Mystery Book Club, who help the authorities solve murder cases in a picturesque New England town. Over the course of their investigations, they become aware of a dark occult conspiracy that connects the cases, and eventually have to face the conspiracy in order to save their community. The game is low prep. Play no matter what your tabletop experience is. It's great. And then, of course, they have this one, which is like the actual book of it. And it's Nephews in Peril, which I think is adorable. Ooh, can we play that? I want to. Pretending to be old lady was hilarious. Well, I was thinking about either having this be the October one shot or Were Rabbit Press. 1 second. Were Rabbit Press, they make a magazine, and they're doing just a bunch of fun stuff, but they're doing like a Halloween thing recently. Where is it? Where's the news? Yeah, Vertigo. I think that's their new one or something, or they're making a really cool one, but they are a magazine that like just publishes D&D content, which I like. Yeah. That is really it. I need to binge watch Golden Girls to prepare. It would be fun, right? So I think I'd want to do Brindlewood Bay for the October one shot, which would be fun. But yeah. Oh my lord. All right, I think that's everything. I honestly might close stream early because I've got my little sister's birthday that I should go to.
Wait, are you saying the birthday's tonight, Nick?
Yes.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, go spend time with your family.
Oh, but she's having, like, a cake, and that, I already had, like, her birthday dinner yesterday, so I was just going to go, like, eat cake. That was really it. But yeah, what did y'all think? I rambled because I didn't know how to correctly phrase that.
No, you're great. You were the shortest out of all of us, because Gamer and I were at least an hour each.
I talked fast, though. I probably could have went a little longer.
I mean, I read pretty much Cress's entire backstory.
I liked that, though. That was cool.
I was aiming for 45 minutes, and I went nearly double. Over. So
yeah. But on the other side,
I went nearly double.
But on the plus side, though, like, I really liked hearing about Disneyland, Disney World.
Yeah.
Gamer needs to do a presentation on Canadian war crimes. That'll be next month.
Yeah. Nick, what is the plan for tomorrow? Just while we're talking, because I don't think anybody has talked about the plan for tomorrow.
Monday?
Yeah.
I was thinking about trying to play Cult of Lamb co-op with Astro again, but I'd need to run that by him. But beyond that, I don't really have a thought. I need to release the winners of the competition, but I'm pretty sure it's you, Tiny, Jen, and then the top 3 donators is Mega, Nem, and Crazy.
Yeah, I
We
screenshotted it morning of,
We have
so
problems. Look, how I still don't understand on PC how to show how many channel points I've spent.
it's
look it
what
up.
it is. Okay, on PC,
Uh-huh.
I will walk everybody through so that everybody can see right now.
Mhm.
So you scroll down into the about section.
Yeah.
Then you should see the play sounds on stream.
Mhm.
Click on leaderboard, channel points, and then if you scroll down,
Oh,
it lets you sort by how long.
Damn.
shit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so there's a
I
7-day
am at the
filter.
all-time high and also the last week.
Yes.
Oh my lord.
Yeah.
I'm building
So
my
that's
channel
how
points
you
again.
check that. See, I have been debating whether I am going to just save up to guarantee a spot for myself in the Christmas one shot, or or I am open to Nick's Christmas present from me DMing that one so she gets to be a player.
Ooh, oh, that would be fun.
Because I have a
Oh.
Christmas one shot in the
You
can from
do.
last year that I haven't gotten to run yet. So that is viable in my opinion that I could DM that one. That way Nick gets to be a player because she is, the forever DM. So her
True,
Christmas
yeah.
present is getting to be a player.
That could be fun. I dig that. You'd have to have
Yeah.
Mariah Carey involved at some point, according to your... What if I just play
Oh,
Mariah
yeah,
Carey?
yeah.
No, I'm gonna be a bard. My name is Marina Carey.
The other
With an
part
epic
of the
high
story
note.
is she has kidnapped Michael Bublé for not helping her in her dastardly plans.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh yeah, Tiny's
Oh,
asking
yeah.
when are the next one shots?
Oh, so I need to check with my waitressing schedule about when I am free. But I'm trying to have the one shots be in the month that in the following month. So like the one that we just did now is August. We had the subathon and that's when the competition was. So the one shot will be in September, and then I'm going to do subathon in September, and then the one shot that's auctioned off there is going to be in October, and then so on and so forth. That way we have an entire month for people to be like, no, I can't go on this random Saturday. Sorry, Friday doesn't really work for me. Can we do next week? That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully they give you a set schedule for your waitress stuff so that you can work around it.
I gave them a schedule of when I'm available, but I don't know. I've been at jobs before where they just kind of take that as like a friendly suggestion. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. It all depends.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to wrap up and go to my little sister's birthday party. So for tomorrow, I'm either going to be streaming with Astro, or honestly, I'll play Horizon if my friends can come. Because Cash is moving. Yes, moved yesterday, so I don't know if she's going to be fully set up. And Astro might be tired because they were traveling, so we'll have to see. But yeah.
I personally and wife is screaming in chat. Yeah.
Horizon.
Because we are intending to go back and watch that part of the VOD.
Really?
Yeah,
I shoot good.
You did great. No, I was watching the part of the VOD where I was imposter and murked everyone.
It was terrible.
You finished stream 2 hours before I woke up for the day.
Oh my god.
I went to bed 5 hours into you streaming, and you finished streaming 2 hours before I woke up.
Oh no, that was Skelly too, because I was talking with them and they said, yeah, they went to bed, slept for like 4 hours, and then they came back for the last half of the stream.
I'm still here. All right.
Oh, and
yes,
and then the other thing is going to be your crafting stream that you did.
Yes, I'm actually excited about that. I ordered the stuff today, so we'll see when it gets in.
Yes.
Yeah, and that one I'm either going to substitute for like a Wednesday stream or a Monday stream, or actually a Wednesday or a Sunday stream is when I was going to do it.
Yeah, and I'll help you figure out setting up your table and everything so that it's good and viewable.
Yeah, totally. All right. Well,
yeah,
I'm excited. I'm gonna sign off. I love you all.
Awesome.
Have a good night. And yeah, that's it. Come see me tomorrow. I think we're all still on technically because they can hear us. So this is my little podcast where we talk about what exactly we thought was cool. So, Gamer, you're now my real estate agent when we go. I know we can, Tiny, I know we can hear it. This is like our ending, like, notes. So, solidly, I want to plan to have all of my friends either go to Japan to go to the Disney World that's in Japan, or to go to the one that's in Florida. If that happens, can we just contact each other and discuss? Mm-hmm. Yes. Completely. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Makes sense. All right. All right. Nick's talking to herself, guys. Nick and other voices. No, I'm just chatting to the emptiness. They can't hear anyone. All right. I love you all. I actually had to go off. Good night.